Stop running. Stop pushing. Stop striving. Take a deep breath and feel the ground beneath your feet. You are tired. You are tired because you have been trying to outrun your own shadow. You have been told that money is a prize to be hunted, a beast to be captured, or a fortress to be stormed. And so, you have spent your life chasing. But look at your life. What you run after runs away. This is the great spiritual law of reversed effort. The more you chase money with desperation, the faster it flees from you. Why? Because chasing is the vibration of lack. Chasing screams to the universe, "I do not have it. It is far away. I am afraid I will never catch it." And the universe, which is a giant mirror, reflects that reality back to you. It keeps the money just out of reach, always a mile ahead, always around the next corner, but never in your hand. Florence Scovel Shinn taught us a different way. She taught us the art of magnetic attraction. Think of a lighthouse. Does the lighthouse run around the ocean looking for ships? Does it swim through the waves, desperate to find a boat? No. The lighthouse stands still. It is rooted in the rock. It shines its light with absolute confidence. And because it stands still and shines, the ships navigate toward it. Today, we are going to stop being the hunter, and we are going to become the lighthouse. We are going to stop the exhausting chase and learn the secret of standing still in your power. When you stop chasing, you stop repelling. When you stop fearing, you start magnetizing. If you are ready to lay down the heavy burden of making it happen and start allowing it to happen, if you are ready to let money find you, then listen closely. The chase ends right now. The attraction begins right now. You are standing at a crossroads today. Behind you lies the path of the hunter, the path of the struggler, the path of the one who wakes up every morning with a tightening in their chest, wondering where the supply will come from. That path is worn down by your anxiety. It is watered with your sweat and your tears. It is the path of the chase, and if you look closely at that path, you will see that it goes in circles. You run, and the horizon moves away. You reach out, and the prize slips through your fingers. You work harder, you push faster, you sleep less, and yet the gap between where you are and where you want to be remains. It remains because the path of the chase is built on a lie. The lie tells you that your good is outside of you, that it is elusive, that it is reluctant, and that it must be captured by force. But I am here to tell you that the chase is over. The moment you stop running is the moment the magic begins. The moment you stop striving is the moment you start arriving. We are here to initiate a profound shift in your spiritual biology. We are moving from the predator mindset, the one who hunts for survival, to the magnetic mindset, the one who attracts by nature. Florence Scovel Shinn taught us that the game of life is a game of boomerangs. What you send out comes back. But if you are running after a boomerang, you are not in the position to catch it. You must stand still. You must be rooted. You must be the center point. Today, we declare that you are the center point of your own universe of wealth. You are not a satellite orbiting around money, begging for its gravity to pull you in. You are the sun. You have your own gravity. And when you inhabit your own power, when you sit on the throne of your own divine authority, money does not run from you. It orbits you. It is drawn to you. It falls upon you like rain upon a thirsty field. Why has the chase failed you? Understand the metaphysics of chasing. To chase something is to affirm with every step that you do not have it. To chase money is to scream into the quantum field, "I am lacking, I am empty, I am without." And the universe, which is a faithful servant, says, "Yes, you are," and it creates more circumstances of lack to match your vibration. Desperation is the most powerful repellent in the universe. You cannot be desperate and magnetic at the same time. They are opposite frequencies. Desperation pushes, magnetism pulls. When you chase money with fear in your heart, you are literally pushing it away with an invisible force field of anxiety. You are blowing it away with the wind of your own worry. You think you are running toward it, but energetically, you are running with a repelling shield that ensures it can never touch you. So the first step in the art of magnetic attraction is the hardest step for the human ego to take. You must stop. You must stop the panic. You must stop the frantic mental calculations. You must stop the sleepless nights of strategizing how to force a door open. You must stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Standing still does not mean you do nothing. It means you do nothing from fear. It means you do nothing from a place of lack. It means you stop the internal motor of anxiety that has been burning up your fuel. Imagine a magnet. Does the magnet sweat? Does the magnet strain? Does the magnet hyperventilate? No, the magnet simply is. It rests in its own nature. It knows what it is, and because it knows what it is, the steel filings have no choice but to rush toward it. They do not argue. They do not delay. They fly to the magnet because it is the law. You are a spiritual magnet. You were created in the image of the great provider. Your natural state is abundance. Your natural state is flow. The only reason you are not experiencing this flow is that you have disrupted your own magnetic field with the static of fear. Today, we clear the static. We turn off the noise of the world. We turn off the news of recession. We turn off the opinions of doubters. We return to the silence of the center. In this silence, you will find your power. In this silence, you begin to emit a new signal. Instead of the signal of, I want, you begin to emit the signal of, I am. I am provided for. I am valuable. I am worthy. I am open. When you stop chasing, you create a vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum. When you stop filling your space with the frantic energy of trying to get, you create a holy space of ready to receive, and into that space, the substance of the universe must rush. It rushes in to fill you, but it cannot fill you if you are already full of worry. It cannot fill you if you are running around. You must be a still cup to be filled. If you are shaking the cup, the wine spills. Be still. Let the universe pour the blessing into you. Think of money not as a cold, hard object, but as a living energy. Think of it as a shy animal. If you run at a deer in the forest, screaming and flailing your arms, it will bolt. It will disappear into the trees. But if you sit quietly, if you radiate peace, if you hold out your hand with a gentle spirit, the creature will eventually come to you. It will eat from your hand. Money is the same. It runs from the energy of the hunter. It runs from the energy of the killer instinct. But it is drawn to the energy of the lover. It is drawn to the energy of the sovereign. It wants to be where it is safe. It wants to be where it is appreciated. When you chase money, you are treating it like prey. When you attract money, you are treating it like a guest. We are changing your relationship with supply right now. You are no longer the beggar at the gate. You are the owner of the mansion. The owner does not chase the furniture. The owner does not chase the garden. The owner walks through the estate with a knowing smile, appreciating what is there and commanding what is to come. This is the posture of the magnet. You must walk through your life with the air of the expectant, not the anxiety of the needy, but the calm assurance of the one who knows the package is in the mail. When you order a package online, you do not run to the warehouse. You do not chase the delivery truck. You go about your day. You prepare a place for the item. You trust the system. Do you trust the universal system? Do you trust the infinite intelligence that manages the galaxies? If this intelligence can orchestrate the movement of the stars without them crashing into each other, surely it can orchestrate the movement of money into your bank account. The only thing that stops the delivery is your doubt. Your doubt is a roadblock. Your chasing is a detour. When you stop chasing, you clear the road. You pave the highway for your abundance. You say to the universe, I trust you. I am ready. I am here. This requires a massive surrender. You must surrender your need to control the how. The chaser is obsessed with the how. How will I make the rent? How will I get the client? How will I pay the debt? The magnet does not care about the how. The magnet cares about the who, and the who is you. Who are you being? Are you being a person of faith? Are you being a person of gratitude? Are you being a person of ease? When you focus on your vibration, the how takes care of itself. The how is the domain of the infinite. The how is full of surprises. The chaser looks for money in one specific place, a job, a person, a deal. The magnet knows that money can come from anywhere. The magnet is open to the north, south, east, and west. The magnet knows that the universe has 1,000 trapdoors, 1,000,000 secret channels, and infinite ways to bless you. By stopping the chase, you are not giving up. You are leveling up. You are moving from the physical plane of struggle to the spiritual plane of dominion. In the physical, you have to move rocks with your hands. In the spiritual, you move mountains with your faith. We are moving mountains today. We are dissolving the mountains of resistance that you built with your own stress. We are letting them melt away like snow in the sun. And what is left is a clear path, a path of least resistance. Money loves the path of least resistance. It flows where it is easy. It flows where it is welcome. So, let us make a pact with the Spirit today. The pact is this: I resign as the general manager of the universe. I resign from the job of forcing things to happen. I accept the position of receiver. I accept the position of beneficiary. I will do my work, yes. I will dig my ditches, yes. But I will not worry about the rain. The rain is God's business. My business is to stay open. My business is to stay magnetic. Feel the relief of this decision washing over you. Feel the tension leaving your shoulders. The heavy backpack of I have to make it happen is dropping to the floor. You don't have to make it happen. You have to let it happen. You have to allow it. You have to get out of your own way. You have been the only obstacle. Your effort was the block. Your strain was the wall. Now that the strain is gone, the wall crumbles. You are entering the zone of attraction. In this zone, synchronicities become normal. In this zone, the phone rings with good news. In this zone, checks arrive in the mail. In this zone, people offer you help without you asking. This is not magic. It is law. It is the law of attraction, working without the interference of resistance. You have removed the interference. You have tuned your radio to the station of wealth. Before, you were on the station of static, trying to find the music. Now, you are the music. Breathe in the truth of your own magnetism. You are gold, you are valuable, you are a piece of the divine. Does God chase money? No. God is the supply. And since you are one with God, you are one with the supply. You are not separate from what you desire. You are made of the same substance. You are calling your own nature back to you. As we move deeper into this realization, understand that this is not a passive waiting game. This is an active, vibrant stillness. It is the stillness of a spinning top, perfectly balanced, yet full of energy. You are vibrating at a high frequency. The frequency of it is done. The frequency of thank you. The frequency of I love my life. This high vibration is what the money is looking for. Money is looking for a happy home. Money is looking for a peaceful host. Be that host. Prepare the guest room of your mind. Clean out the cobwebs of fear. Put fresh flowers of gratitude on the table. The guest is coming. The guest is already at the door. You have stopped running. You have turned around. You are facing your good. And you see now that your good was never running away from you. It was waiting for you to stop, so it could catch up. It has caught up. It is here. The chase is over. The embrace has begun. Now that you have stopped the frantic motion of the chase, you might ask, what do I do now? Do I just sit on the couch and wait for a bag of gold to drop through the ceiling? No. This is a common misunderstanding of the law. Stopping the chase does not mean stopping the action. It means stopping the struggle. It means shifting from panic action to inspired action. The lighthouse stands still, yes, but its light is actively sweeping the horizon. Its machinery is working perfectly. It is fulfilling its purpose with precision. You must now enter the phase of active preparation. Florence Scovel Shinn taught us the story of the three kings in the desert. They were dying of thirst, and they asked the prophet Elisha for water. The prophet did not tell them to pray for rain and wait. He told them to dig ditches. He said, "Make this valley full of ditches." They had to prepare the ground to hold the water before the water appeared. This is the secret of the magnet. The magnet must be aligned. You must prepare your life to hold the wealth you are calling in. If you are asking for financial freedom, but your wallet is full of old receipts and clutter, you are not prepared. If you are asking for abundance, but you speak words of poverty to your friends, you are not prepared. If you are asking for a flood of money, but your mind is a closed fist, you cannot catch the rain. So, the first act of the magnet is to set the table. Imagine you invited a king to dinner. You would clean your house, you would set out your best plates, you would cook the best food. You would be dressed and ready at the door. You would not wait for the doorbell to ring to start cleaning. You prepare because you expect him. You must treat money like that king. You must treat prosperity like that honored guest. Look at your financial life right now. Is it ready for millions? Is your environment welcoming to wealth? Clean out your purse, organize your bills. Speak to your creditors with dignity, not fear. When you bring order to your chaos, you are signaling to the universe, I am ready, I am responsible, I am open for business. This act of preparation is a powerful prayer. It is faith in action. It says, I know it is coming, so I am getting ready. As you prepare, you begin to listen. When you were chasing, the noise of your own anxiety was deafening. You couldn't hear the guidance of the Spirit because your mind was screaming, I need money, constantly. But now that you have stopped, now that you are still, you can hear the still, small voice. This voice often speaks as a hunch. A hunch is a sudden feeling, an urge to go somewhere, to call someone, to buy something, or to start something. It doesn't always make logical sense. The reasoning mind might say, that's a waste of time. But the magnetic mind says, I will follow the lead. Your money is often hiding behind a hunch. The universe is trying to deliver your good, but it needs you to be in the right place at the right time. It is like a GPS. The GPS says, turn left. If you are too busy panicking, you miss the turn. You miss the opportunity. But when you are magnetic, you are tuned in. You take the turn. You make the call. And suddenly, you find yourself standing in front of the open door. This is the difference between hustle and flow. Hustle is trying to knock down every door in the city hoping one opens. Flow is waiting for the hunch, walking up to the right door and watching it open automatically. You are moving into a life of divine efficiency. The magnet does not waste energy. It is efficient. Why work 16 hours a day in fear when you can work 4 hours a day in inspiration and achieve more? One idea from the infinite intelligence is worth a lifetime of hard labor. You are asking for that idea. You are waiting for that download. And when it comes, you act. You act with confidence. You act without doubt. This action is not chasing. This action is receiving. It is the action of a baseball player running to catch a fly ball. He isn't chasing the ball. He is positioning himself to where the ball is already going. Position yourself. Listen. Move when the Spirit moves. We must also address your vibration of gratitude. A magnet has a field. Your field is made of your emotions. If your emotional field is full of resentment, jealousy of rich people, or anger at the economy, You have demagnetized yourself. You have turned your poles around. Instead of attracting, you are repelling. To remagnetize, you must find the frequency of appreciation. You must fall in love with what you have. This sounds contradictory to the mind that wants more. The mind says, I will be happy when I have the million. But the law says, be happy with the dollar, and the million will come. Bless the money you have. I want you to literally bless the coins in your pocket. Say to them, I love you. You are God in action. You are freedom. You are welcome here. When you bless what you have, you multiply it. Jesus blessed the loaves and fishes, and they multiplied. If he had cursed them for being too little, they would have remained crumbs. Do not curse your small bank account. Do not curse your small salary. Bless it, praise it, thank it for serving you. As you pour love onto your finances, the energy shifts. The heavy, sticky energy of lack dissolves, and the light, golden energy of abundance takes its place. Money wants to go where it is loved. Be a lover of your supply, and your supply will grow. And what about the debts? What about the bills? The chaser looks at bills and feels fear. The chaser tries to run from debt. The magnet faces it. The magnet stands still and looks at the giant of debt and realizes it is just a shadow. You must agree with your adversary quickly. Do not fight the debt mentally. Do not hate the debt. Hate binds you to the object of your hate. If you hate your debt, you tie it to your ankle with a steel chain. You must release it. You must say, this debt is a part of my past, but it is not my future. I bless it and I release it. See the bills not as demands, but as receipts of blessings you have already enjoyed. You had the electricity, you had the home, you had the food. Be grateful for the credit that was extended to you. When you pay a bill, do not do it with a trembling hand. Do it with a wave of a wand. I pay this with joy, and I know my source is replenishing me right now. This attitude of non-resistance makes you slippery to debt. It cannot hold on to you. You slide right out of it and into freedom. You are learning the art of ease. The magnet does not strain. The sun does not strain. God does not strain. Why should you? The belief that hard work is the only way is a belief from the old paradigm. It is the curse of Adam by the sweat of your brow. But you are under the grace of the Christ consciousness. You are under a new law. The law of grace says, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. If you are grinding, if you are suffering, if you are exhausting yourself, you are not in the flow. You are swimming upstream. Turn around, float, let the current carry you. This does not mean you become lazy. It means you become peaceful. You can work hard, but with a light heart. You can build an empire, but with a joyful spirit. The difference is the internal state. The chaser works from a place of not enough. The magnet works from a place of overflow. You are working because you are so full of creative energy, you have to express it. You are serving because you are so full of love, you have to give it. That is the work that brings wealth. That is the work that turns to gold. Let us speak of the magic purse. Florence Scovel Shinn spoke of the purse that never empties. This is your consciousness. When you spend, do not see it as a loss, see it as a circulation. The blood leaves the heart, but it returns. The tide goes out, but it returns. If the tide said, I am afraid to go out because I might not come back, the ocean would stagnate and die. You must trust the tide. You must trust the cycle. Spend with faith. Give with faith. Know that you are hooked up to a reservoir that is infinite. You are not pouring from a cup. You are pouring from a fire hose. The source is endless. As you stand in this new magnetic posture, you will notice people reacting to you differently. They will want to be around you. They will want to hire you. They will want to buy from you. Why? Because everyone is tired of the chase. Everyone is exhausted by the struggle. When they see someone who is still, someone who is calm, someone who trusts the universe, They are drawn to that person like moths to a flame. Your peace is your greatest sales pitch. Your certainty is your greatest currency. By stopping the chase, you become a leader. You become a beacon. So, prepare your vessel. Empty out the doubt. Empty out the complaints. Make room. Make room. The blessing is so big, it needs space. It needs a mind that is expanded. It needs a heart that is wide open. Do not be like the woman in the Bible who had only a few jars for the oil. The oil stopped flowing when the jars ran out. Get more jars! Expand your vision. Dare to dream bigger. Dare to ask for the impossible. The magnet does not care about realistic. The magnet cares about alignment. You are walking on holy ground now. The ground of your own life is holy. The job you have now is holy. The money you have now is holy. Stop waiting for the big break to start respecting your life. Respect it now. Treat your current job as if it were the most important job in the world, and you will outgrow it. Treat your current home as if it were a palace, and you will move to a palace. This is the law of use. Use what you have with the highest vibration, and more will be given. To him that hath, more shall be given. Have the feeling of wealth, and the actual wealth must follow. You are tuning your instrument. You are tightening the strings of your soul, so that the wind of the Spirit can play a melody of abundance through you. It is a process of fine-tuning. Every time you catch yourself worrying, you are out of tune. Gently, without judgment, tune yourself back up. I trust, I receive, I allow, I thank. These are the tuning pegs. Turn them daily. Turn them hourly, until your whole being hums with the note of prosperity. The chase is a memory. The struggle is a ghost. You are real. You are here. You are ready. The preparations are complete. The ditches are dug. The jars are gathered. The table is set. And now we wait. But we do not wait in empty silence. We wait in the pregnant silence of the it is done. We wait with the smile of the one who knows the secret. The secret is simple. You don't have to go get it. It is already here. It is just waiting for you to stop running so it can land in your hands. We have arrived at the threshold of the miraculous. You have stopped the chase. You have prepared the vessel. You have tuned your vibration. Now, you stand before the visible world with a new set of eyes. To the human eye, your situation might look the same as it did yesterday. The bank account might still show the same number. The bills might still be on the table. But the spiritual eye sees something different. The spiritual eye sees the cracks in the wall. The spiritual eye sees the trapdoor. Florence Scovel Shinn taught us that often, when we are closest to our demonstration, the wall of circumstances looks its most solid. It looks impenetrable. You look at your financial life and say, there is no way. I have done the math, and the math does not work. But I am here to tell you that divine mathematics is not human mathematics. In human math, 1 minus 1 equals 0. In divine math, 1 minus 1 equals the fullness of the kingdom. If you stand in faith, you are not dealing with facts, you are dealing with truth. And the truth is that every wall has a secret door. Every dead end has a hidden passage. We call this the trapdoor of the infinite. The chaser bangs their head against the wall trying to break it down. The chaser exhausts themselves trying to climb over it. But the magnet stands still, breathes, and waits for the trapdoor to slide open. This trapdoor appears in the most unexpected places. It is the check in the mail you didn't see coming. It is the tax refund you forgot about. It is the stranger who offers you a contract. It is the debt that is suddenly forgiven. The reasoning mind cannot predict the trapdoor. The reasoning mind hates the trapdoor because it cannot control it. But you must love the trapdoor. You must expect the unexpected. You must live in a state of positive paranoia, suspecting that the universe has a surprise party planned for you around every corner. Do not look at the size of the wall. Look at the power of your God. Do not look at the size of the debt. Look at the size of the supply. When you stare at the lack, you feed the lack. When you stare at the trapdoor, You lubricate the hinges. It is about to open. It opens at the sound of your faith. It opens at the sound of your joy. The shout of the Israelites brought down the walls of Jericho. They didn't push the walls down. They shouted them down. Your shout is your vibration. Your shout is your inner certainty that, my supply is here. Shout it in the silence of your heart. Let the wall crumble. We are pulling wealth from the fourth dimension. You must understand that money is not created in the printing press. It is created in the imagination. Everything you see in the physical world was once a thought. The chair you sit on, the phone you hold, the car you drive, it all started in the invisible. The fourth dimension is the realm of pure potential. It is the world of the wondrous. In this realm, your wealth already exists. It is already finished. You are not trying to create it. You are trying to squeeze it out of the invisible tube into the visible world. You do this through the power of attention. What you attend to manifests. If you attend to the lack, you manifest the empty tube. If you attend to the abundance, you manifest the gold. You are an alchemist. You have the power to turn the lead of your fear into the gold of your freedom. This is not a metaphor. It is a spiritual operation. Every time you feel a pang of anxiety about money and you choose to switch your thought to, God is my supply, you have performed a miracle. You have transmuted energy. You have turned a block into a stepping stone. Do this enough times, and the physical gold must appear. It is law. The within determines the without. If you have gold in your consciousness, you will have gold in your pocket. You cannot stop it. You could go to a desert island, and wealth would wash up on the shore because you are wealth. And let us speak of time. The chaser is obsessed with time. When will it come? It's taking too long. The chaser lives in the delay. The magnet lives in the now. In the divine mind, there is no time. There is only the eternal now. Your good is not in the future. The future does not exist. Your good is now. It is hovering right here, in the same space as you, just at a different frequency. When you match that frequency, the manifestation happens in the twinkling of an eye. It can happen today. It can happen before this video ends. Do not push your good into next year. Claim it for today. Give us this day our daily bread. Not tomorrow's bread, today's bread. Today's fortune, today's miracle. You are ready to receive large sums of money. Say that phrase to yourself. Large sums of money. Does it scare you? Does it make you feel small? Or does it make you expand? You must get comfortable with the magnitude of your inheritance. You are a child of the King. The King does not give his children pennies. The King gives kingdoms. You have been playing small. You have been asking for just enough to get by. That is an insult to the giver. The giver wants to lavish you. The giver wants to overwhelm you with goodness so that you become a walking testimony of his grace. Open your capacity. Widen your channel. Let the river become a flood. You are no longer the victim of the economy. You are the creator of your own economy. Your economy is governed by the laws of spirit, which are inflation-proof and recession-proof. While the world panics, you prosper. While the world hoards, you circulate. While the world fears, you feast. This is the promise of the 23rd Psalm. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. The enemies are fear, lack, and doubt. And right in front of them, you are feasting, you are secure, you are untouched. Now, we move to the final decree. This is where we seal the vibration. This is where we lock the magnetic field in place. I want you to feel these words as if they are being tattooed onto your soul. These are not just words, they are commands. They are the decrees of a sovereign. Repeat this in your heart. I am now the master of my money, not its slave. I have stopped the chase, and I have started the flow. I stand in the center of my own being, rooted in the truth that I am provided for. I am a center of gravity for divine abundance. I draw to myself the wealth of the universe, not through strain, not through stress, but through the irresistible power of my own peace. I call my money home. I call it from the north, the south, the east, and the west. I call the unexpected checks. I call the sudden windfalls. I call the divine surprises. I command the trapdoors of the infinite to open. I command the hidden channels to be revealed. I am not looking at the wall. I am looking at the door. And the door is opening now. I release the past. I forgive the losses. I forgive the mistakes. The locusts of the past have eaten nothing that the years of the future will not restore 100-fold. I am stepping into my season of restoration. I am stepping into my season of harvest. The seeds I have planted in tears, I now reap in joy. I am a fearless spender because I am a fearless receiver. I possess the magic purse of the Spirit. My supply is inexhaustible. As I give, I receive. As I spend, I replenish. The cycle is unbroken. The flow is endless. I am safe in the flow. I am worthy. I am worthy. I am worthy. I do not earn this love. I accept it. I do not earn this wealth. I allow it. It is my birthright. I put on the crown of prosperity. I wear the robe of abundance. I walk with the dignity of one who knows who they are. I deny the power of debt. Debt has no power over me. I speak to the mountain of debt, and I say, "Be thou removed and cast into the sea." I see it dissolving. I see the zeros on the balance sheet. I see the freedom. I feel the wind on my face. I am free. My ships come in over a calm sea. I do not have to fight the storm. The waters are still. The cargo is safe. The delivery is guaranteed. I wait on the shore with a smile. I know what is coming. It is mine. It has always been mine. God is my supply. God is my supply. God is my supply. I look to no man. I look to no job. I look to no government. I look to the source, and the source is faithful. The source is here. The source is now. I seal this decree with the name of the divine. It is done. It is established. It cannot be reversed. The chase is over. The magnet is active. The miracles have begun. Take a moment now to sit in the silence of this realization. Feel the hum of your own magnetic field. You are not empty. You are full. You are not weak. You are powerful. You are not alone. You are backed by the treasury of the stars. As you go about your day, do not run. Walk. Walk slowly. Walk with purpose. When you feel the urge to rush, stop. Breathe. Remember the lighthouse. Stand still and let the ships come to you. When you feel the urge to worry, stop. Breathe. Remember the trapdoor. It is there. It will open. You have shifted worlds today. You have left the world of the beggar and entered the world of the beneficiary. Stay in this world. Protect this vibration. Guard your peace like it is the most expensive diamond in the world, because it is. Your peace is the magnet. You are rich. You are loved. You are free. And so it is. It is done.
There is a law, subtle and silent, yet more powerful than the clamor of 10,000 voices. It is the law of mind, the law of assumption, the law of divine supply, and when rightly understood, it opens doors where walls once stood. The method I shall reveal today is not merely a technique, but a spiritual key, a vibration that unlocks the abundance already assigned to you in the infinite. This method, this secret, does not bend fate. It aligns your consciousness with the highest reality, where all things are already yours. It is not superstition. It is divine science. Men and women struggle endlessly, casting their hopes on chance, believing the lottery to be a game of numbers. But nothing in this world moves unless it is first moved by the mind. And mind, when it is aligned with spiritual law, creates results so swiftly that to the untrained it seems like magic or overnight luck. The truth is, there is no luck. There is only alignment. The great mistake is to beg for wealth, to plead for provision, when all along the riches of the kingdom are within. The lottery ticket is not your source, it is the symbol. It is not your supply, it is the avenue. The true supply is infinite substance. And this method I give you tonight, dear listener, draws directly from that wellspring. It calls to the unseen, and the unseen obeys. What is this method? It is the practice of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, of living in the end result, even before a single number is drawn. The law is precise and impartial. It delivers not what you want, but what you prepare for, what you accept without resistance. Your only task is to become the version of yourself who has already received, already celebrated, already walked in that sudden blessing. Speak not of how, for how belongs to spirit. Speak only of already done. You must eliminate doubt as one would uproot a thorn from the flesh. Doubt is the poison that delays. Faith, when unmixed with fear, brings results that astonish the natural mind. You need not strain, for the law does not require effort. It requires belief, a calm, quiet knowing, a deep and joyous expectation. Picture the numbers in your hand, feel the paper, hear the announcement. Let the thrill of victory wash over you as though it were real. Because, in truth, it is. And if your outer world has yet to catch up, do not be moved. The delay is only the shadow of your own resistance dissolving. You are not waiting on fate. You are aligning with your good. This secret method works not because it manipulates luck, but because it honors law. And law, when aligned with, responds like lightning. Swift, certain, unquestionable. You do not need to be worthy, you already are. You do not need to chase, you must simply receive. There is no outer condition so fixed that inner conviction cannot change it overnight. The invisible becomes visible the moment you stop arguing with your good, speak it, feel it, see it, know it. The door opens the moment you decide it must. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This is the cornerstone of all manifestation. The silent lever that moves the immovable, the invisible seed from which visible results must bloom. It is not a hollow repetition of desire, nor a vague hoping. It is a deep inner shift, a rearrangement of the soul, in which one ceases to long and begins to live as though the desired result were already achieved. The outer world is a mirror, reflecting faithfully the state of your inner conviction. To assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled is to bypass the visible and step directly into the reality you choose. In this practice, you do not beg for results. You do not strive. You do not reach with trembling hands toward some distant good. Instead, you draw it to you by being it. You wear the consciousness of the outcome like a robe, and you do not remove it. The world may still appear unchanged, but within you, the shift has already occurred. And once the shift occurs, the external must conform. It is not a matter of if. It is only a matter of when, and when is often quicker than expected. When you assume, you are not lying to yourself, you are aligning with a deeper truth. The senses may report lack. The bank account may display insufficiency, but these are simply shadows of past thinking. They are not authorities. They do not define what is possible. What defines what is possible is your capacity to feel the end, to dwell in it, to walk in it mentally with such ease and familiarity that the subconscious accepts it as true. And what the subconscious accepts as true, it must express. You must train the imagination not to be fanciful or unrealistic, but to be obedient to your command. Imagination is the creative faculty of the divine mind within you. It is not a childish tool, it is the master sculptor of your experience. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you engage this inner faculty with purpose. You see not what is, but what must be. You hear not the silence of delay, but the sounds of celebration. You do not ask if it is possible. You know that it already is, because you have felt it. This is not about fooling yourself. It is about waking up to the truth that your state of being is the cause of all effects. You are not reacting to life, you are creating it with every sustained mood and mental picture. A man who walks with confidence before the prize is in his hand is not deluded. He is aligned. And because he is aligned, the world must rearrange itself to match him. The feeling is everything. Words are important, but without the feeling behind them, they are empty. You could repeat 1,000 affirmations, but if you do so from a state of desperation or disbelief, they carry no power. Yet one deep, Sincere moment of assuming the feeling of your desire fulfilled can set into motion forces beyond comprehension. The feeling is the prayer. The feeling is the doorway. The feeling is the power that moves reality from one configuration to another. To assume the feeling is to live in the result before it materializes. It is to close the gap between desire and possession. You do not say, "I hope it will happen." You say, "It has already happened," and you feel what that truth would feel like. That feeling is your permission slip. That feeling is your silent claim. It speaks to the universe more loudly than any words ever could. It declares, "I am ready. I accept." Practice this in quiet moments. Close your eyes. Go within, ask yourself, if this desire were fulfilled, how would I feel? Then surrender to that feeling. Dwell in it. Marinate in it. Let it wrap around you and sink into your bones. The outer scene may still be unchanged, but within, you have already crossed the line. That is the only crossing that matters. You do not have to explain it to others. They may not understand, and that is fine. This work is done in silence and secrecy. It is between you and the law. Between you and the infinite. You owe no explanations. You owe only alignment. You must become so familiar with your desired outcome that it feels more real than the current moment. You must inhabit it so fully that doubt becomes irrelevant, not because you've conquered doubt, but because there's no room for it. Your inner world is too full of knowing, too saturated with certainty. You are not pretending. It is already done in the invisible. When a person truly assumes the feeling, their tone changes. Their body language shifts. They no longer speak as one waiting, they speak as one who knows. Their energy becomes magnetic, their vibration elevated, and the world takes notice. Opportunities come. Circumstances shift. What once seemed unlikely begins to take shape, and those around them say, "How did this happen?" But the one who has assumed does not wonder. They knew all along, because they already lived the outcome within. You may practice this with anything: health, wealth, relationships, success. The form does not matter. The principle remains the same. Assume it now. Feel it now. Stop looking for evidence and start becoming the evidence. Stop measuring time and start measuring alignment. How close are you to the feeling? How often do you visit it? How deeply do you believe it? These are the questions that matter. No effort in this world is more powerful than sustained inner alignment. All outer striving, when disconnected from the feeling of fulfillment, becomes frustration. But one moment of true inner alignment can accomplish what years of toil cannot. This is the law, this is the secret. This is the way. Align with spiritual law, not chance. The universe is not governed by accident, nor by luck, nor by the whim of unseen forces. It is governed by precise, unchanging principles, laws that work with mathematical accuracy, regardless of who applies them. To align with spiritual law is to place yourself in harmony with the unseen currents of power that already know how to bring your desire to pass. Spiritual law does not fail. It does not sometimes work and sometimes not. It always works according to the consciousness of the one using it. When you align, you do not beg. You do not plead. You come into agreement with that which has always been waiting for your recognition. Chance is the belief of the untrained mind. It is the worldview of those who do not yet understand that thought precedes form, that the inner state creates the outer circumstance. People say someone is lucky when they see sudden success or wealth, not realizing that behind that success is often a deep unconscious or unconscious alignment with law. Spiritual law operates quietly and impersonally. It rewards no favorites, it only mirrors. What you hold in consciousness, consistently and with belief, becomes your experience. Chance may appear to explain things on the surface, but it is always an illusion. Behind every so-called coincidence is cause. Intelligent, directed, lawful cause. To align with spiritual law means to study it, understand it, and most importantly, feel your way into it. You must make the law your companion, your guide, your constant reference point. Instead of reacting to life, you respond from principle. When you are tempted to doubt, you return to law. When fear rises, you do not wrestle with it. You remember that spiritual law is already at work, shaping outcomes according to your dominant state. The more you practice this remembering, the less you are thrown by appearances. The less you are swayed by the world of facts, because you begin to live by truth. The truth is that your inner world is the seed, and the outer world is the harvest. Nothing arrives in your life uninvited. That which you consistently think, feel, and expect becomes magnetized to you. This is not superstition, it is structure. Just as gravity does not care whether you believe in it, spiritual law does not wait for your approval to work, it simply operates. The choice is yours whether to move in opposition to it, believing in chaos, randomness, and unfairness, or to harmonize with it, and thus allow it to carry you with ease. Many people live as though they are victims of an unpredictable universe. They hope to win, to get lucky, to be chosen. But the one who is aligned knows they do not need to be chosen. They have already chosen themselves. They do not wait for a stroke of luck, they invoke the law. And in invoking it, they move into certainty, into calm expectancy, into divine timing. The spiritual laws of assumption, belief, forgiveness, and divine supply are not metaphors. They are practical mechanisms for creating reality from within. The spiritual laws never say, maybe. They say yes, to whatever you impress upon them. If you believe in scarcity, the law confirms it. If you believe in sudden increase, the law confirms that too. It is not personal, it is responsive. It mirrors you exactly, neither more nor less. This is why it is so essential to cleanse the mind of randomness, to clear away the debris of inherited ideas and cultural beliefs about struggle, luck, and deserving. You are not rewarded according to effort, but according to alignment. Alignment is not a feeling of strain, it is a feeling of deep inner agreement. It is when your mind, your emotions, your imagination, and your words all point in one direction. When you say, yes, within yourself to the result you desire and cease to argue against it. You do not doubt, you do not negotiate, you do not question whether you are worthy, you simply know. That knowing is alignment. And once aligned, the outer world begins to reflect it with precision. To align with spiritual law is to reject the idea of luck entirely. It is to understand that the universe is ordered, not chaotic. It is to understand that success is not reserved for the few. It is available to all who will claim it inwardly. You must no longer ask whether something is possible. You must ask, am I aligned with it? If the answer is no, you do not despair, you simply adjust. You go within and shift your state. You speak words that match your outcome. You create mental images that soothe you and excite you and lift you. You choose to dwell in the reality where what you want is already so. You do not need to figure out the mechanics. That is the job of law. The law knows the path of least resistance. It knows who to send, what to open, when to deliver. Your job is not to tinker with timing. It is to remain in alignment until the outer must obey. The more consistently you live from this awareness, the more miraculous life becomes. Not because anything has changed in the law, but because you have finally placed yourself in harmony with it. And the beautiful thing is, you do not need to be perfect. You do not need to master every nuance. You simply need to come back to alignment again and again. When fear pulls you off course, gently return. When you feel confused, go within and ask yourself what the law would say. It always says the same thing, as within, so without. If the world is not showing you what you want, it is not because it has failed you. It is because you have more aligning to do. That is all. To align is to surrender control over outcomes and assume control over consciousness. You let go of how it should look, and you focus instead on how it should feel. You walk through your days with the quiet confidence of one who understands law. You speak prosperity over your affairs. You forgive yourself quickly. You expect divine solutions. You do not get swept up in panic, because you know that panic is a signal you've stepped out of alignment. And you know how to return. You return by remembering, by stilling the mind, by affirming truth over fact, by closing your eyes and dwelling for just a moment in the finished state, the joyful result, the peaceful fulfillment. The more you live from that inner reality, the faster the outer reality catches up. You must become so familiar with spiritual law that it becomes your atmosphere, your lens, your inner compass. When the world suggests failure, you remember that it cannot override your assumption. When people doubt you, you remember that their beliefs have no authority unless you accept them. You are governed by a higher order. You are moved by unseen hands that know exactly how to bring you your good. All you must do is remain aligned. Eliminate doubt and embrace certainty. Doubt is the silent thief of manifestation. It enters the mind in small, subtle whispers, disguising itself as realism, logic, caution. It poses as wisdom, but it is fear in disguise. It does not create, it delays. It does not protect, it postpones. Doubt is the denial of the truth, that what you desire is already given in the invisible, waiting only for your unwavering belief to make it visible. Every time you entertain doubt, you cancel out the power of your word. Every time you argue with your desire, you reject the good that is already trying to reach you. The spiritual law is precise. It does not respond to partial belief. It responds to certainty, clarity, and conviction. Certainty is not arrogance. It is not noise or force or overconfidence. It is calm knowing. It is quiet assurance. It is the deep, unshakable inner agreement that says, "This is mine," and says it without hesitation. It does not need validation. It does not ask for confirmation from the world. It moves forward as though the outcome were already complete, because in truth, it is. The unseen precedes the seen, and the one who embraces certainty understands that the outer world must eventually conform to the inner image, held with clarity and emotion. Doubt is born from outer focus. It arises when you allow the senses to dictate what is true. You look at your bank account and say, "I don't see the money, so it must not be coming." You examine your relationships, your health, your career, and make judgments based on current facts. But facts are not truth. Facts are temporary reflections of previous beliefs. When you look at what is, and use it to determine what can be, you remain a prisoner of circumstances. But when you ignore appearances, and choose to dwell mentally in the desired outcome, you rise above facts and enter the realm of truth. Certainty begins in imagination. You must see it so clearly in your mind that the outer world becomes secondary. You must rehearse the outcome until it feels natural. You must live mentally in the fulfilled desire until the senses begin to yield. This is not escapism. It is training. You are training the subconscious mind to accept a new reality. And once the subconscious accepts it, it must express it. But the subconscious is not persuaded by fleeting thoughts. It is moved by feeling. Consistent, saturated, unquestioned feeling. Doubt interrupts that feeling. Certainty deepens it. The work, then, is not to fight doubt, but to starve it. To stop feeding it with anxious conversations, repetitive complaints, worst-case scenarios. You do not overcome doubt by debating it. You overcome it by withdrawing your attention from it entirely. You stop agreeing with it. You stop treating it as wisdom. You turn your attention fully toward your desire, and you remain there. This is the discipline. To ignore what does not serve and to magnify what does. To train your mind like a garden, pulling out the weeds before they spread. Certainty is not something you must earn. It is something you must allow. It already lives within you, beneath the noise, beneath the conditioning, beneath the fear. It is the still, small voice that says, "Yes, this is possible." The voice that knows your desire is not random. That it was placed within you by something greater, something wise, something generous. Certainty grows when you trust that inner voice more than the outer noise. It expands when you act in alignment with what you believe, not with what you fear. To live with certainty means to speak differently. You stop saying, "I hope," and begin saying, "I know." You stop asking when and begin saying, "Now." You stop explaining yourself to others and begin explaining your vision to yourself. Your words become creative acts. Your tone becomes your declaration. You begin to notice that what you speak with conviction starts to take shape. And when it does, you do not act surprised. You nod in calm agreement because you knew it was coming. Doubt often masquerades as preparation. It will tell you to wait for the right moment, to gather more information, to make sure you've done everything perfectly. But this is not preparation. It is procrastination disguised as caution. The right moment is when you decide. The time to believe is now. The world does not respond to hesitation. It responds to clear, deliberate energy. The moment you become certain, the moment you release hesitation, the atmosphere around you begins to shift. People respond differently. Opportunities find you. Circumstances mold themselves to your new vibration. You do not need to know how. The how belongs to the law. Your role is to sustain the state of belief long enough for the law to work. Doubt will tempt you to peek behind the curtain, to question the timeline, to measure progress with impatience. But certainty does not require proof. It is the proof. Your unwavering belief is the creative force, and when held long enough, it becomes matter, event, and experience. There is no timeline that certainty cannot collapse. What should take months can take days. What was once considered improbable can become inevitable. The more you dwell in certainty, the less external resistance you meet. You no longer send mixed signals to the universe. You no longer create with one hand and destroy with the other. You become a channel for precision. Your intention is clean, your energy undivided. And in that state, things begin to come quickly, naturally, effortlessly. The path clears because your signal is clear. The obstacles dissolve because you no longer affirm them. The delays shorten because you no longer expect them. Certainty is a decision. It is the moment you stop asking, "What if it doesn't work?" and begin asking, "What if it does?" It is the moment you stop rehearsing failure and begin rehearsing fulfillment. You must sit quietly and find the version of yourself who already has what you want. Speak as they would speak. Walk as they would walk. Feel as they would feel. You do not wait for the world to give you permission. You give it to yourself. And once given, nothing can block it but your own divided mind. Every day you are asked to choose: will you believe the truth, or will you believe appearances? Will you hold to your vision, or will you surrender to doubt? This is the only real battle. Not against others, not against circumstances, but against the inner voices that would have you shrink. You must silence them, not with force, but with love. With faith. With persistence. You turn your attention away from fear like turning a dial. You tune into a different station. A frequency where what you want is already done. The habit of doubt is strong for many because it has been practiced for years. But it is still just a habit, and any habit can be replaced. Each moment you choose belief, you weaken the old pattern. Each time you affirm your desire as already fulfilled, you imprint a new pathway in the subconscious. And that path, once well-worn, becomes your new default. Then belief is no longer effort, it is natural. Certainty becomes your atmosphere. Doubt no longer finds room to grow, because the soil of your mind no longer nourishes it. You have become the one who knows, the one who trusts, the one who speaks, and it is done. Visualize as if it's already done. This is not mere daydreaming. It is not idle fantasy or hopeful thinking. It is a deliberate, disciplined act of creation. To visualize is to enter the invisible realm where all things are first formed. It is to step ahead of time and space and see, with the inner eye, the reality that will soon appear in the outer world. You are not imagining what might be. You are visiting what already is, and you are claiming it by dwelling in its feeling. Visualization is the language of the subconscious, and the subconscious controls manifestation. When you speak to it in images, in sensations, in full sensory experiences, it listens. And once it accepts what you show it, it begins to rearrange the external world to match what you've impressed upon it. The key to effective visualization is immersion. You must not simply see the picture. You must enter it. You must feel the emotion, hear the sounds, touch the objects, sense the atmosphere. It must become more than a passing thought. It must become a living scene. When you visualize correctly, your body responds. Your heart may beat faster. Your mood may lift, your breath may deepen. This is how you know the subconscious has been engaged. The deeper the feeling, the faster the result. Visualization, when infused with belief and emotion, becomes a spiritual blueprint. It becomes the silent order placed with the universe. When you visualize, you are not watching yourself from afar. You are looking through your own eyes. You are not a spectator. You are a participant. If you desire wealth, you do not imagine looking at your wealthy self from across the room. You see yourself holding the check, entering the new home, feeling the abundance in your hands. You live it in the present tense. Not, someday I will. But, this is mine now. The subconscious does not know the difference between real and vividly imagined. It only responds to what you feed it consistently. This is why repeated visualization is so powerful. It carves a new groove into your inner mind. And the mind, once carved, must express what it contains. You must understand that every outer result was once an inner image. Nothing appears without first being imagined. The clothes you wear, the room you sit in, the technology you use, all were once invisible thoughts. Someone saw them before they became tangible. Someone believed in them before they existed in the physical. The same process applies to your desires. You must become the one who sees it before others can. You must hold to your vision, even when the world gives you no evidence. Especially when the world gives you no evidence. Because it is in those moments that your faith deepens, your vision sharpens, and your energy aligns with the unseen. Visualization is not about controlling events, it is about aligning with outcomes. You are not forcing reality to obey. You are inviting it to mirror what you've already accepted within. And it will mirror it, with exact precision. The clearer your picture, the faster the manifestation. The more consistent your emotion, the smoother the path. You cannot visit your vision once and expect results. You must return to it daily. Morning, night, moments throughout the day. Each time you visit, you strengthen the signal. You impress it deeper, you broadcast your certainty. And the universe operating by exact law responds. When doubt or fear arises, return to the vision. Close your eyes, see it again, feel it again. Remind yourself of who you are in that reality. Let the imagined scene become more familiar than your current surroundings. Speak from it. Think from it. Live from it. The more real it becomes in your inner world, the more inevitable it becomes in the outer. You are not pretending. You are practicing. You are embodying. You are creating. Visualization works best when it is specific. Do not be vague. If you want freedom, define what that means. Is it a certain income? A location, a schedule, a feeling of ease? Build the scene in detail. What are you wearing? Who are you with? What do you hear? What do you see when you look around? The more detail you include, the more tangible it becomes. But detail alone is not enough. It must be paired with emotion. The emotion is the activating force. The picture is the map, the feeling is the engine. Together, they create a magnetic field that pulls the result toward you. You must also make visualization enjoyable. Do not approach it as a task. Approach it as a pleasure, a sacred meeting with the version of yourself who already has what you desire. Let it be play. Let it be joy. Do not force images. Let them arise naturally. If they change, let them. If new ones appear, trust them. Your subconscious knows what you want more deeply than you sometimes admit. Trust its guidance. Trust its symbols. Trust the sensations that come. You may use tools to enhance visualization, music that moves you, scents that ground you, objects that symbolize the desired result. These are not magic in themselves, but they serve as bridges. They help the mind settle into the scene. The more immersive the experience, the more persuasive it becomes. You are convincing yourself, not of a fantasy, but of a truth that has not yet taken form. Some will say, I cannot visualize, I see nothing. But everyone visualizes in their own way. Some see pictures, others sense, feel, hear, or know. Do not be limited by one form. Trust your dominant mode. If you are more emotional, then dwell in the feeling. If you are more auditory, then hear the sounds of success. If you are more physical, then use your body. Act out the scene, walk the steps, rehearse the outcome in motion. Visualization is flexible. It bends to your nature. Use what works. And once you've visualized, act in harmony with what you've seen. Walk like one who knows it's coming. Speak like one who has already received. Let the vision shape your choices, your tone, your posture. This is not hypocrisy. It is alignment. You are not faking anything. You are simply moving in the direction of what is already yours. And with each aligned action, the invisible moves closer to form. You become the living evidence of your own inner image. Others will see the results and call them luck, but you will know it was law. You do not need to share your vision. Protect it. Guard it. Let it be sacred. Let it be yours. Not because it is fragile, but because it is precious. Speak of it only to those who understand, who uplift, who believe. Keep it strong within you, like a hidden flame. Feed it daily. Let it grow until it no longer needs effort, until it becomes your default. Your assumption, your identity. The one who visualizes with consistency becomes the one who receives with ease. The unseen becomes seen not by chance, but by the clarity of inner vision made real. Let go of the how and trust the divine process. The greatest hindrance to manifestation is the mind's obsession with details. It wants to know how things will unfold, when they will arrive, through whom, and in what manner. But the how belongs to the infinite, not to the individual. The part you play is alignment, clarity, belief. The mechanism, the delivery, the sequence of events, that is the realm of spiritual law. When you interfere with the process by demanding specifics, you interrupt the flow. You move from trust into control, from faith into fear, from creative power into restriction. The truth is that your desired result has countless pathways to reach you. The mind, limited by past experience and logical sequence, imagines only a few. But spirit, boundless and wise, has ways and means that cannot be predicted or planned. When you let go of the how, you release resistance. You allow space for grace. You make room for solutions that would never occur to your conscious mind. You open yourself to divine orchestration, where all things are working together behind the scenes to fulfill what you've already accepted within. The moment you try to manipulate the process, to force it into a mold, you narrow the channel. You say to the universe, I want this, but only if it comes the way I expect. And in doing so, you shut the door to miracles, to serendipity, to the sudden unfolding that often appears as coincidence, but is in truth precision. To trust the process is to surrender, not in weakness, but in wisdom. You stop micromanaging. You stop revisiting the mechanics. You plant the seed and trust the law of growth. You water it with faith, with gratitude, with imagination, and you allow it to sprout in its own way. You do not dig it up to check on it. You do not rush it, question it, or compare it to other seeds. You honor its timing. You trust its nature. You know that what is for you cannot be lost, delayed, or taken. It is simply preparing its way. The ego fears letting go of the how, because it equates control with safety. It wants guarantees, timelines, blueprints. But manifestation is not a mechanical process. It is a spiritual one. It does not unfold according to human logic, but according to divine law. The more you try to map every step, the more you feel exhausted, anxious, frustrated. But when you release the how, you feel relief. You feel light. You feel the burden lift, because you have handed it back to the part of you that already knows the way. Letting go of the how does not mean doing nothing. It means doing only what is yours to do. You follow intuitive nudges. You take aligned actions. You move in the direction of your desire, but you do not obsess over the rote. You do not demand certainty from the outside world. You create certainty within. You live from the end. You hold the feeling of fulfillment. You become the person who already has what they asked for. That is your work. That is your responsibility. The rest is handled by the law. The more you trust, the faster it comes. Not because you've done more, but because you've stopped interfering. You've stopped adding friction. Doubt, fear, control. All are forms of resistance. Faith, ease, surrender. These are forms of allowance. When you shift from grasping to trusting, you align with flow. And flow is the natural rhythm of creation. The rivers do not ask how they will reach the sea. They simply move, responding to gravity's shape momentum. In the same way your desire knows its path. It only needs you to stop damming the current. Many people pray for results, visualize outcomes, affirm their desires, and then cancel the process by worrying about logistics. They ask, but how will it come? What if it doesn't? What if I fail? These questions are not neutral. They are counter-creations. They plant seeds of confusion in the soil of the subconscious, and the subconscious, ever obedient, will mirror that confusion back. But when you say, I don't know how, but I know it is done, you stay in the energy of completion. You align with certainty, and certainty is creative. The is not your concern because the universe operates on a level of intelligence far beyond your planning. What you call miracles are simply manifestations that bypassed your expectations. What you call luck is often just a demonstration of divine timing and perfect alignment. The invisible realm is working constantly in your favor, but only to the degree you allow it. When you insist on being in charge of the process, you slow it. When you allow spirit to move freely, you accelerate it. Letting go of the how is an act of devotion. It says, I trust life more than I trust my fear. I trust the source more than I trust my senses. I trust that what I have asked for is already on its way. Even if I cannot yet see the route, that trust becomes your foundation. It becomes your frequency, and your frequency is what draws the form to you. You do not manifest by force. You manifest by frequency. The one who radiates certainty, peace, joy, and gratitude becomes a match for what they desire, and that match creates manifestation. You must come to a place where not knowing no longer disturbs you, where the mystery is not a problem, but a promise. You walk forward with confidence, even in fog, because you know that the path will appear under your feet as you move. You no longer need proof before believing. You believe and proof arrives. This is the reversal of the worldly order and the key to the spiritual one. First you believe, then you see. First you assume, then you receive. The how is the realm of unfolding. It is not static, it is fluid, dynamic, multi-dimensional. To try to control it is to freeze it. To trust it is to energize it. As you practice letting go of the how, you will notice more ease in your life. You will see things fall into place without effort. You will witness the timing of events that could not have been orchestrated by your mind. You will meet people you never planned to meet. Be offered opportunities you never imagined. Find answers where you weren't even looking. These are signs that you have stepped out of control and into cooperation. You are no longer pushing. You are allowing. No longer forcing. You are inviting. No longer questioning. You are knowing. Each time your mind wanders into the mechanics, gently guide it back. Say to yourself, that is not my job. My job is to believe. My job is to feel it done. My job is to align. Let that be enough. Let that be your peace. You do not need to understand the entire journey to begin walking. You do not need to trace every thread to trust the tapestry. You do not need to hold the plan to receive the promise. The promise is already held in divine intelligence, already set in motion, already unfolding perfectly. Beloved soul, hear me now, for I will tell you something that can change the course of your life forever. You have not found these words by accident. You have been guided here by divine law. There are no mistakes in spirit, only perfect appointments, and this moment is your appointment with truth. Do you not see? The universe is speaking to you even now. Every thought you have carried, every prayer you have whispered, every tear you have shed, every desire hidden deep within your heart, has brought you to this very place. You are not a victim of chance nor a prisoner of fate. You are a creator. Your word is your wand. What you decree, you create. For too long, many have lived under the lie that they are powerless. They wait for life to change. They beg for blessings to appear. They wander in circles of lack, fear, and delay. But I tell you, life is not a lottery. It is a game, and it is played by law. The law is exact. It cannot fail. When you speak lack, lack multiplies. When you speak abundance, abundance flows. When you speak fear, fear answers. When you speak faith, miracles appear. Beloved, your lips are the keys to your future. Your tongue is the pen that writes your destiny. Every sentence you speak sends out a vibration into the great web of oneness, and that vibration must return multiplied. You are living today in the harvest of yesterday's words, and tomorrow will be the harvest of today's decrees. This is not philosophy, it is law. It is divine truth. So I ask you, what are you decreeing? What seeds are you planting with your words? Do you say, I cannot, I do not, I never will? Then do not wonder why the doors stay shut. Do you complain, I am always struggling? Nothing works for me. Then do not wonder why struggle multiplies. But if you dare to speak differently, if you dare to decree, I am one with divine abundance, health, and love. All that is mine comes to me now under grace, in perfect ways. Then the universe must shift to obey your decree. The invisible must move to create the visible. Supply must appear, doors must open, peace must flow. This is your moment, beloved soul. Do not waste it on small words. Speak boldly. Declare your oneness with all good. Speak as though you already hold the blessing in your hand. Speak as though the miracle were already done. For in truth, it is already done in spirit. Your word calls it forth into visibility. You are not separate from supply, you are one with it. You are not distant from health, you are one with it. You are not cut off from love, you are one with it. The only distance is the lie you speak with your lips, and that lie today. Speak truth, speak law, speak faith, and watch as your world changes before your very eyes. Beloved soul, let us begin where all creation begins, with the spoken word. For in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Do you see the mystery? Creation did not begin with action. It did not begin with struggle. It did not begin with waiting. It began with the word. Let there be light, was spoken, and light appeared. This is not only the story of the universe, it is the story of your own life. For every time you speak, you say, let there be, and your world obeys. Your word is your wand. Your lips hold the key to the invisible forces that shape your destiny. When you speak, you do not only describe, you create. When you say, I am strong, you are not simply telling of strength, you are calling it forth. When you say, I am weak, you are not simply reporting a condition, you are commanding weakness to remain. Every word is a command, every decree is law, every statement is a seed. Beloved, many live as though their words are dust, as though they vanish the moment they are spoken. But nothing is lost. Every word spoken goes forth into the web of divine oneness, and every word must return multiplied. You are surrounded today by the harvest of the words you have spoken in the past. Some of those harvests have been bitter, because your words were careless. But I tell you this, you can begin a new harvest now. You can plant new seeds today with new words, and tomorrow will be different from yesterday. I once had a student who came to me crying, saying, Miss Shinn, nothing ever works for me. I try and I fail, I begin and I lose. My life is a circle of disappointment. And I said to her, yes, it is, for you have decreed it so. You have made failure your law. Each day you say, nothing ever works for me, and the universe, impartial and exact, has only obeyed your decree. She asked, then what must I say instead? I told her, say, everything works together for my good. What is mine comes to me now, swiftly, under grace, in perfect ways. She obeyed. Within weeks, doors opened for her that had long been shut. Opportunities that had seemed lost returned to her hands. The law had not changed, But her words had changed, and her words created a new harvest. Do you see, beloved? Spirit does not resist you. Spirit does not delay you. Spirit only reflects you. The universe is a mirror, and your words are what it reflects. When you speak fear, fear stares back. When you speak faith, faith shines forth. When you speak lack, lack echoes in your purse. When you speak abundance, abundance rushes to your door. And I tell you something more. It is not only the loud words that matter. Even the quiet whispers of your thoughts are words spoken in spirit. When you think continually, I cannot, you are decreeing. When you sigh in despair, it is hopeless, you are decreeing. When you imagine yourself in struggle, you are decreeing. And the law cannot tell the difference between the loud cry and the secret whisper. It answers both with exactness. This is why I tell you to guard your speech, to guard your thoughts, to guard your lips. For they are not toys, they are tools. They are not careless, they are creative. If you would live in abundance, speak abundance. If you would live in health, speak health. If you would live in love, speak love. And if you would live in peace, speak peace. For your life cannot rise higher than your words. Beloved, many say, but Miss Shinn, I am only describing my reality. I am only telling the truth when I say I am poor, when I say I am sick, when I say I am lonely. And I tell them, you are not telling the truth, you are telling the illusion. For the truth is spirit, and spirit is abundance, spirit is health, spirit is love. When you speak of lack, you speak of shadows. When you speak of supply, you speak of light. You must choose whether you will echo shadows or declare light. I recall another student who said, I cannot say I am abundant when my purse is empty. It feels like a lie. I told him, it is not a lie, it is a prophecy. You are not describing what is, you are decreeing what shall be. Do not wait for the evidence to speak the word. Speak the word, and the evidence will appear. He began to say, I am one with infinite supply. At first his eyes doubted, but his words persisted. And soon, money flowed in unexpected channels, opportunities rose from forgotten places, and his purse was filled. Why? Because the spoken word created the visible proof. Beloved soul, let this sink into you deeply. Every word is a seed, and the harvest is sure. There is no careless speech, there are only careless sowings. Do not say again, I am broke. Do not say again, I am unlucky. Do not say again, it is too late. These words are chains, they bind you, they return to you multiplied. But if you dare to speak differently, if you dare to decree, I am rich in spirit, and wealth flows to me now. If you dare to declare, I am divinely guided, and doors open before me. If you dare to say, I am one with perfect love, and love surrounds me, then those words become keys, and the chains fall off, and your life begins to shift. Beloved, hear me well. Life is a game, and it is played by law. Your word is the move you make in that game. Speak well, and you will win. Speak poorly, and you will lose. The law is impartial, exact, unchanging. It does not bend for one and break for another. It answers all alike. The only question is, what word will you give it to answer? Say with me now, slowly. With faith I am one with divine abundance, and abundance flows to me now. Again, I am one with divine life, and life fills me with health and strength. Once more, I am one with divine love, and love surrounds me in perfect ways. Beloved, hold these words. Speak them daily. Speak them when you rise, speak them when you walk, speak them when you lie down. Let them be your shield and your sword. For your word is your wand, and with it you write the story of your life. Beloved soul, now that you understand the power of the spoken word, Let me show you the certainty of the law that answers it. For many fear that their affirmations vanish into the air, that their prayers are unheard, that their decrees fall empty to the ground. But I tell you, nothing spoken in faith is ever lost. The law is exact. The law is impartial. The law never forgets. It always returns the seed that was sown. Consider the farmer who plants his field. He does not rise each morning and ask the earth, "Will you answer me this time?" He knows the soil is faithful. He knows the sun will shine, the rain will fall, and the seed will sprout. His only work is to sow and to trust. So it is with the words you speak. They are the seeds, the soil is the universe, and the harvest is your life. You need not plead with the soil to answer. You need not beg the sun to shine. You need only sow the right seed, and the law will surely do the rest. The law makes no exception. It does not say, "I will answer him, but not her." It does not say, "I will bless the wealthy, but not the poor." It does not say, "I will listen to the strong, but not the weak." No, beloved. The law hears all words alike, and it multiplies them back into the life of the speaker. If you sow complaint, you reap complaint. If you sow blessing, you reap blessing. If you sow fear, you reap fear. If you sow faith, you reap miracles. A woman once came to me and said, "Miss Shinn, I do not believe the law works for me. I have spoken affirmations, but I see no change." And I asked her, "What do you speak when you are not affirming?" She confessed that in her daily conversation, she often said, "I never get what I want. My life is so hard. Nothing ever changes." I told her, "Beloved, you cannot plant wheat in the morning and weeds in the afternoon and expect only wheat to grow. The law does not choose one seed over the other. It grows whatever you plant." When she learned to guard her daily words, not only her affirmations but her casual speech, she began to see miracles. For the law had always been working. It was only multiplying what she had unknowingly decreed. Beloved soul, do you not see? The law is not sleeping. It is not waiting. It is not partial. It is active every moment, responding to every decree. If your life is filled with lack, it is not because the law has failed you. It is because you have sown lack with your words. If your life is filled with blessings, it is because you have sown blessings with your words. This is why I tell you, life is not chance. Life is not luck, life is law. Many believe they can speak fear and still reap faith, speak lack and still reap abundance, speak anger and still reap love. But the law cannot be mocked. It only returns what was given. This is not punishment, it is precision. It is not cruelty, it is exactness. The law is like a mirror. It reflects only what stands before it. If you scowl, the mirror scowls. If you smile, the mirror smiles. If you speak lack, lack answers. If you speak abundance, abundance rushes forth. The mirror cannot choose. It only reflects. I recall a student who constantly declared, "I am always late. I never arrive on time." And indeed, no matter how early she began, something always delayed her. Trains broke down, meetings shifted, traffic blocked her way. I told her, "You have decreed lateness, and the law has simply arranged circumstances to fulfill your decree. Begin instead to say, 'I am always on time. I am divinely guided, and I arrive at the perfect moment.'" She laughed, but she obeyed. Within days she noticed the change. Delays cleared. Appointments adjusted to her favor. She began to arrive with ease and grace. The law had not suddenly awakened. It had always been working. The only difference was her decree. Beloved, the law is no respecter of persons. It does not bend to emotion. It does not pity your tears. It does not favor your struggle. It only answers your decree. This is why I say, do not speak of what you fear, for the law will multiply it. Do not speak of what you hate, for the law will return it. Do not speak of what you lack, for the law will echo it back. Instead, speak of what you desire, speak of what you love, speak of what you believe, for those are the seeds you wish to see multiplied. Do not say again, the law has failed me. The law never fails. If you see failure, look at the seed you planted. If you see delay, look at the words you spoke. If you see struggle, look at the decree you made. Change your seed, and the harvest must change. Beloved soul, I tell you again, your word is your wand. The law is the unseen servant that fulfills your command. It does not argue. It does not question. It does not forget. It only obeys. If you say, I am sick, it says, so be it. If you say, I am healed, it says, so be it. If you say, I am broke, it says, so be it. If you say, I am rich, it says, so be it. The law is exact and it never fails. Let us speak together now, sealing this truth into our spirit. Everything I decree returns to me multiplied. Again, I sow only words of abundance, and abundance answers me swiftly. Once more, I am divinely guided, and the law fulfills my every word under grace, in perfect ways. Beloved, carry this with you today. Do not let careless words fall from your lips. Do not let fearful thoughts linger in your mind. Speak only the decree you desire to see fulfilled. For the law is always listening, always answering, always multiplying. And as you align with truth, as you sow only seeds of faith, your harvest will be a life overflowing with miracles. Beloved soul, let me now tell you a truth that so many have forgotten, yet it is the very foundation of your freedom. Abundance is your birthright. Not poverty, not struggle, not endless waiting, but supply, peace, joy, health, and love in perfect measure. You were born not to chase after good as though it hides from you, but to live as one who already possesses it in spirit, calling it forth with your word. Too many have believed the lie that they are destined to lack. They say, I was born poor, so I must remain poor. They say, others prosper, but it is not for me. They say, perhaps God has forgotten me. But I tell you, beloved, God forgets no one. The universe withholds from no one. Supply is like the sun. It shines on all, yet if you close your shutters, you will sit in darkness. The sun did not fail you, but you failed to open the window. So it is with abundance. It is always here. It is always flowing. It is always ready. But if you shut the door with words of fear and thoughts of lack, you will live as though supply does not exist. Beloved, you must understand spirit is limitless. The same spirit that fills the oceans, the same spirit that paints the heavens, the same spirit that gives life to every tree, every bird, every star, that spirit is your source. Do you think the source that creates galaxies will run out when you ask for provision? Do you think the fountain that waters the earth will dry up when you decree abundance? Impossible. Lack is not real. It is only the shadow of fear. Supply is real, eternal, overflowing, endless. I once knew a woman who always said, I cannot keep money. It leaves me as soon as it comes. And so it was. Her purse was a sieve. She received, but it slipped away. I told her, beloved, change your decree. Say, money stays with me. Money multiplies in my hands. I use it with wisdom, and it blesses me continually. She began to speak it, even when her purse was nearly empty. Soon she noticed a change. Small amounts began to stay, then larger sums. Investments grew. She discovered that money was never her enemy, but her words had been. When she claimed her birthright, money returned as a faithful friend. Beloved soul, abundance is not a privilege for the few. It is the inheritance of all. You are a child of the infinite. Do you think the infinite would cast its children into lack? Do you think divine love would delight in your struggle? No. The struggle is not divine will. The struggle is only misaligned decrees. The moment you begin to speak differently, the moment you declare your oneness with supply, the moment you claim your birthright, the chains fall off and the floodgates open. Do not say again, I must earn my abundance by endless toil. For abundance does not flow by toil, it flows by law. Work is a channel, but spirit is the source. Opportunities are channels, but spirit is the supply. If one channel closes, another opens. If one door shuts, another swings wide. Do not cling to the channel, cling to the source. For the source is limitless, and you are one with it. Beloved, the richest harvests in life are not meant to be hoarded by a few, they are meant to be shared by all. The air you breathe is free, the sun that warms you is free, the love of spirit is free. Why then do you believe money must be scarce, or blessings must be rare, or miracles must be rationed? These are illusions, taught by fear, spoken by those who forgot their oneness. But you, beloved, must not forget. You must remember abundance is your birthright. Say it with me now, I was born into supply. Again, I am heir to infinite abundance once more. All that is mine comes to me now, under grace in perfect ways. Beloved, when you speak these words, you are not asking permission. You are not begging for favor. You are standing in your inheritance. Just as a child does not beg for food at the family table, but eats because it is theirs by right, so you must not beg spirit for supply. You must decree it, you must claim it, you must speak it as yours now, for indeed it is. I recall a man who feared to ask for increase. He said, I do not deserve wealth. I have made mistakes. I am not worthy. I told him, Beloved, abundance is not a reward for perfection. It is your inheritance by birth. Just as the sun does not shine only on the righteous but on all, so supply flows not by merit but by law. Speak not of your unworthiness, for those are chains. Speak instead of your oneness, for that is freedom. He obeyed, and soon he saw increase beyond his expectation. His worthiness was never the question, only his recognition of oneness was required. Beloved, this is why I tell you, speak not as a beggar, but as an heir. Do not whine for blessings, decree them. Do not doubt your right, affirm it. Do not wait for proof, speak as though proof were already in your hand. For the law is certain, what you decree must appear. You are not meant to scrape by in fear. You are meant to walk in plenty. You are not meant to live in sickness. You are meant to shine with life. You are not meant to wander in loneliness. You are meant to overflow with love. This is not arrogance, this is law. This is not fantasy, this is truth. So take your birthright, beloved. Claim it now with your words. Say, I am one with supply. I am one with life. I am one with love. Do not wait until tomorrow. Do not wait until the evidence shows. Speak it now, and the law must obey, for spirit is faithful, and spirit never withholds. Everything you desire already exists in the invisible, waiting to be called forth by your decree. Do not live as though you are separate. Do not speak as though you are powerless. You are not a beggar in spirit's house. You are a child of the infinite, and abundance is your inheritance. Say it one last time with me now, sealing it into your being. Abundance is my birthright, and I claim it now under grace in perfect ways. Beloved soul, a truth is never fully alive until it is demonstrated. Words are seeds, and every seed must grow into a harvest. If the law is real, it must prove itself in life. If affirmations are power, they must produce visible results. And so they do, again and again. for those who dare to believe. Let me tell you of those who put faith into action, and the miracles that followed. A woman once came to me in desperation. Her rent was overdue, her purse was empty, and her heart was heavy. She said, "Miss Shinn, I have no way out. It is impossible." I told her, "Beloved, do not declare impossible. Speak instead, my supply comes now under grace, in perfect ways." She obeyed. Though her mind doubted, her lips decreed. She repeated the words like a lifeline. That very week, an unexpected check arrived, enough to pay her rent and more. The law had answered swiftly, because she chose faith over fear. She said later, "The money was already mine in spirit. I only needed to call it forth." Another came, a man without work. He said, "I have searched for months, but no one will hire me. Perhaps it is not meant to be." I told him, "Do not decree delay. Do not decree rejection. Speak instead, I am divinely guided. The right position finds me now." He spoke it faithfully, even as the days passed. Within 2 weeks, he received a position better than he had imagined, with pay beyond what he thought possible. The law had not delayed. His own words had opened the door. "Beloved, I once counseled a young artist who longed to sell her paintings. She said, 'I love my art, but no one values it. I am unseen, ignored, forgotten.' I told her, 'You are decreeing invisibility. Speak instead, what is mine cannot be hidden. My work is seen, valued, and rewarded.' She obeyed. Within a short time, a collector discovered her paintings and purchased several for a handsome sum. She wrote me, 'Miss Shinn, it felt as if the universe had been waiting to show me favor the moment I spoke the truth.' Do you see, beloved, how the law works? It is not sluggish, it is not withholding, it is exact, responsive, alive. It mirrors your decree, nothing more, nothing less. When you say, 'I am overlooked,' the law creates circumstances where you are overlooked. When you say, 'I am valued and rewarded,' the law arranges events so you are valued and rewarded. When you say, 'I am always in lack,' the law opens channels of lack. When you say, 'I am one with abundance,' the law directs supply to your door. Even in health, the law demonstrates itself. I knew a woman whose body was afflicted with pain. She said continually, 'This sickness is mine. This pain is mine.' And so it was. I told her, 'Beloved, release that decree. Say instead, I am one with divine life. Health flows through me now.' She began to speak it, though the pain did not vanish at once. Yet day by day, her strength grew, her health returned, and soon she walked free of the illness. She said, 'I had been claiming the sickness as mine, but when I claimed life as mine, life answered.' Another testimony, beloved, is of love. A man once told me, 'I am destined to be alone. Love is not for me.' I told him, 'Beloved, you are decreeing loneliness. Say instead, I am one with divine love, and love surrounds me now.' He obeyed. Within months, a companion entered his life who brought joy and harmony. He said, 'I see now that love was always near, waiting for me to invite it with my word.' Beloved, these are not isolated stories. They are the natural results of divine law. They are the proof that Spirit is faithful, that affirmations are power, that your word is indeed your wand. And what Spirit has done for others, Spirit will do for you. The law has no favorites. It answers all decrees alike. Say with me now, sealing this truth in your heart, what is mine by divine right now comes to me swiftly, under grace, in perfect ways. Again, every decree of abundance I speak returns to me multiplied. Once more, I am divinely guided, and miracles appear daily in my life. Beloved, let your faith rise. Do not say, 'Perhaps it will happen for me someday.' Say, 'It is mine now.' Do not say, maybe the universe will favor me. Say, the universe always favors me, for I am one with divine law. Do not say, I hope supply will come. Say, my supply is here now, and I give thanks, for the law is exact. It cannot delay, it cannot fail, it cannot forget. It returns what you decree. The only question is, what decree will you give it? Fear or faith, lack or supply, sickness or health, loneliness or love? Choose well, beloved, for what you speak today will be your harvest tomorrow. Everything I have shared with you is not theory, it is demonstration. These lives I have told you of are proof, and you too shall be a demonstration. You shall hold in your hand the visible harvest of the words you plant today. And when you see it, you will say, truly, the law has worked for me as it has for others. Truly my word has power. Beloved, begin now, decree boldly, speak faithfully, affirm continually, and watch as your own testimony joins these stories, proving once and for all that abundance is real, that health is certain, that love is near, that peace is yours, and that every word you speak is a seed in the fertile soil of divine law. Beloved soul, you have now heard the truth, and you have seen the demonstrations. The law is not only to be known with the mind, it is to be lived with the lips. Your life is not changed by theories, but by decrees. So let us now enter the holy practice of speaking, of affirming, of planting the seeds that will return multiplied. Close your eyes if you will, breathe deeply, and remember you are one with Spirit. You are not separate, you are not small, you are not powerless. The very breath in your lungs is proof that life and spirit flow through you. Every word you speak is alive, charged with creative power. Let us begin with money, for many fear it, resent it, or chase it as though it were a stranger. But money is simply spirit in form, a channel through which abundance flows. Do not curse it, for what you curse cannot bless you. Bless it and it multiplies. Say with me now, slowly and with faith, I bless the money I have, and it multiplies under grace. Again, money flows to me easily, freely, and joyfully. Once more, I am one with divine abundance, and abundance is one with me. Beloved, see yourself not only blessed, but blessing others. When you hear of another's success, do not envy. Envy is poison to your own harvest. Rejoice, for their good proves yours. Say with me, I bless the prosperity of others, for it proves the law of abundance for me. Again, as I rejoice in another's success, my own success multiplies. Once more, there is no lack in spirit, and I am one with supply. Beloved, let us now turn to health. Your body is not separate from spirit. Every cell, every breath, every beat of your heart is filled with divine life. Speak not of sickness, for sickness is the shadow of fear. Speak of life, and life will overflow. Say with me, I am one with divine life, and life flows through me now. Again, every cell of my body vibrates with strength, health, and wholeness. Once more, health is my birthright, and I claim it now under grace, in perfect ways. Beloved, look beyond yourself. Think of those who are ill, those who are weary, those who are broken. Do not fear their condition. Bless them, for as you bless them, you connect yourself to the same life that heals you. Say with me, I bless the health of others, for their healing proves my healing. Again, I rejoice in the life that fills them, for life flows in me as well. Once more, divine life is one, and I am one with it now. Beloved, now let us speak love. For love is the highest vibration of oneness. To live in love is to live in God. Love is never lost, never absent, never far. It is always present, waiting for you to declare it. Say with me, I am one with divine love, and love surrounds me now. Again, I radiate love, and love returns to me multiplied. Once more, I walk in harmony, for love is the law of my life. Beloved, look to others who walk in joy, in companionship, in harmony. Do not envy their relationships, bless them. For what you bless, you invite into your own life. Say with me, I bless the love of others, for their joy proves my joy again. I rejoice in the harmony of others, for harmony flows to me as well. Once more, love is one, and I am one with it now. Beloved, let us seal these blessings with peace, for peace is the atmosphere of spirit. Without peace, abundance cannot be enjoyed, health cannot be sustained, love cannot be savored. Peace is the soil in which all blessings grow. Say with me, I am one with divine peace, and peace fills my heart now again. Every worry dissolves, every fear vanishes, for I rest in divine peace. Once more, peace flows through me and surrounds me, keeping me in perfect harmony. Beloved, do you feel the shift within you? Each word you have spoken has gone forth into the great web of oneness. Each blessing you have released is already returning multiplied. The law has no choice but to answer. Spirit has no power to withhold. Your only work is to decree, to believe, to bless, and to rejoice. So I tell you, make this practice your daily habit. Speak blessings over your money each morning. Bless your body with health each day. Bless your relationships with love. Bless your atmosphere with peace. The more you bless, the more blessings return. The more you affirm, the more miracles appear. The more you rejoice, the more joy overflows. Everything is connected, beloved. When you bless others, you bless yourself. When you curse others, you curse yourself. When you rejoice in another's success, you invite success into your own life. When you speak love, you create harmony in your own heart. When you declare abundance, you open the floodgates for your own supply. So walk as a blesser, walk as a decreer, walk as one who knows the law and uses it with joy. For the universe is listening, the law is answering, and your words are writing the story of your future. Say it with me 3 final times, sealing it in your spirit. I am one with abundance, health, love, and peace, now and forevermore. I am one with abundance, health, love, and peace, now and forevermore. I am one with abundance, health, love, and peace, now and forevermore. Beloved soul, it is done. Your blessings are released. Your decrees are written. Your harvest is already on its way. Rejoice now, for the law has answered, under grace, in perfect ways. Beloved soul, the law is not a secret to be heard once and forgotten. It is a way of life. If you would see continuous demonstration, you must live in oneness not only in your prayers, but in your every word, your every thought, your every deed. For life is not divided into sacred and ordinary. All is sacred, all is spirit, all is one. When you rise in the morning, do not let complaint be the first on your lips. Do not begin the day with worry. Instead, greet the morning with decree. Before your feet touch the ground, say, I am one with divine abundance, health, and love. Begin your day in oneness, and the hours that follow will carry that vibration. As you move through your day, watch your speech carefully, for it is easy to affirm abundance in the quiet of your room, and yet complain of lack when speaking with others. But the law does not distinguish between private prayer and casual conversation. Every word is a seed, and every seed will grow, so guard your lips. If you are tempted to say, I cannot afford it, stop and declare, my supply comes now under grace, in perfect ways. If you are tempted to say, I am always unlucky, stop and declare, I am divinely guided, and miracles find me daily. If you are tempted to say, nothing ever changes, stop and declare, everything changes for my good, swiftly and perfectly. Beloved, even small words shape your life. A sigh of despair, a mutter of doubt, a careless remark, these are seeds. Do not scatter weeds into your field. Plant only wheat and your harvest will be golden. Practice oneness in your money. When you receive money, do not say, "It is too little, bless it." Say, "This money is proof of abundance, and it multiplies in perfect ways." When you spend money, do not grumble, "It takes from me." Say, "As I spend, I circulate abundance, and it returns multiplied." When you think of money, do not fear it, do not resent it, do not chase it. Bless it as spirit in action, and it will bless you in return. Practice oneness in your body. When you feel tired, do not decree, "I am weak." Say, "Life flows through me, renewing me now." When you feel pain, do not say, "I am sick." Say, "Every cell of my body vibrates with divine health." When you see another struggling in illness, do not fear for them, do not pity them as helpless. Bless them. Say, "The same life that fills me fills them, and they are made whole." For health is one, and what you bless in another returns to you. Practice oneness in your relationships. When another prospers, rejoice. Do not envy, for envy is poison. Say instead, "Their good proves mine, for we are one in spirit." When another wrongs you, do not curse them, for cursing chains you to their deed. Say instead, "I release them to their good, and I am free." When you long for love, do not speak of loneliness, for loneliness multiplies itself. Say, "I am one with divine love, and love surrounds me now." Practice oneness in your thoughts. The law does not sleep when you are silent. Even your inner dialogue is heard. So when your mind whispers fear, answer it with faith. When it whispers lack, answer it with supply. When it whispers delay, answer it with immediacy. Train your thoughts to echo your affirmations until faith is your first instinct and fear is no longer welcome. Beloved, practice oneness at night as well. Before you close your eyes, release every word of complaint you may have spoken. Forgive yourself, for spirit holds no grudges. Say, "I am one with peace. I release the day, and I rest in divine harmony." Then sleep knowing that even in your rest, the law continues its work, multiplying the seeds you have sown, arranging the perfect harvest for tomorrow. When you live this way, beloved, the law becomes natural. You no longer struggle to affirm, for affirmations become your language. You no longer battle to believe, for faith becomes your atmosphere. You no longer strain to prove, for demonstrations flow continually. This is the fruit of living in oneness. Say it with me now: "I live in oneness daily, and my life overflows with miracles again." Every thought, every word, every deed aligns with divine law. Once more, blessings surround me because I live continually in oneness. Beloved, let these words sink deep into your spirit. Do not think of oneness as something to visit once a week. It is the air you breathe. It is the foundation of your being. It is the law that governs every detail of your life. Live in it and lack cannot remain. Live in it and fear cannot survive. Live in it and blessings will surround you as naturally as sunlight surrounds the earth. Everything is connected. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is separate. So speak blessings in the morning, blessings in the afternoon, blessings in the night. Think blessings in your silence. Send blessings in your actions. And you will see your world transfigured, because you have aligned with the eternal truth. All is one, and all good belongs to you. Beloved soul, we have walked together through this great truth, and now we stand at the place of sealing. You have heard that everything is connected, that no word is wasted, that no thought is powerless. You have seen that the law is exact, impartial, and unfailing. You have learned that abundance is your birthright, that demonstrations appear when you decree, that blessings flow when you bless, and that oneness must be lived daily if you would live in miracles. Let me tell you again, for it must be written on your heart, you are not separate. You are not powerless. You are not forgotten. You are one with divine supply, one with divine health, one with divine love, one with divine peace. The only distance between you and your good is the lie of separation. And today, that lie has been broken. Everything is connected. Your word is connected to your harvest. Your thought is connected to your reality. Your decree is connected to your demonstration. When you speak faith, faith returns. When you speak abundance, abundance rushes to meet you. When you speak love, love surrounds you. When you speak peace, peace enfolds you. The law cannot do otherwise, for the law is exact. Beloved, never again say, I am left out. For in oneness, there is no out. Never again say, it will take too long. For in oneness, all is now. Never again say, perhaps it is not meant for me. For in oneness, all good is yours by divine right. From this moment, let every word you speak align with truth. Let every thought you think agree with spirit. Let every decree you make reflect your inheritance. Say with me now, slowly, sealing it into your spirit, I am one with divine abundance, and abundance flows to me now. Again, I am one with divine life, and health fills me completely. Once more, I am one with divine love, and love surrounds me in perfect ways. Beloved, as you speak these words, know that they are not empty. They are creative forces. They are spirit clothed in sound. They go forth now into the web of oneness, and they must return multiplied. Even now doors are opening. Even now supply is moving. Even now healing is flowing. Even now love is circling. For the decree has been made, and the law has answered. I bless you now with abundance. May money come to you swiftly, through expected and unexpected channels, under grace, in perfect ways. I bless you now with health. May every cell in your body vibrate with life. May your strength be renewed. May your joy be restored. I bless you now with love. May harmony surround you. May companionship uplift you. May divine love fill and overflow from your heart. I bless you now with peace. May every worry dissolve. May every fear vanish. May perfect peace guard your mind and spirit. Beloved, take these blessings as your own. Do not doubt them. Do not delay them. They are not distant promises, they are present realities. The law has no future tense, it only knows the now. As you say, I am, so it is. As you decree, so it appears. As you believe, so you receive. Everything is connected. When you bless another, you bless yourself. When you rejoice for another, you open the floodgates for your own joy. When you send out faith, you call back miracles. When you sow affirmations, you reap demonstrations. Life is not chance, life is not luck, life is law. And the law is always working, always answering, always multiplying. So I charge you, beloved soul, live as one who knows, speak as one who knows, walk as one who knows. Do not live as though you are powerless. Live as though you are an heir of the infinite, for indeed you are. Do not live as though supply is scarce. Live as though you are one with limitless abundance, for indeed you are. Do not live as though love is far. Live as though you are love itself, for indeed you are. Say it now 3 final times, sealing this truth into the marrow of your being. I am one with divine abundance, health, love, and peace, now and forevermore. I am one with divine abundance, health, love, and peace, now and forevermore. I am one with divine abundance, health, love, and peace, now and forevermore. Beloved soul, it is done. The decree is spoken, the law is sealed, the harvest is certain. Walk now in oneness, and watch as miracles appear before you, swiftly under grace in perfect ways. You think it's what you say in front of others that shapes your life. You think it's the declarations you post online, the affirmations spoken aloud in morning light, the vision boards and bold goals taped to your mirror that create the life you see. But I tell you the truth, the most dangerous words you speak are the ones no one hears, the ones muttered under your breath when you're alone, the ones that escape your lips in the dark, in defeat, in secrecy, the words you whisper when you think God isn't listening. But God is always listening, not to your mask, not to your performance, but to your pattern. And your pattern is written in the sentences you speak when your back is to the wall and the curtain is drawn. I speak now to the soul who is tired of cycles, tired of doing everything right and seeing everything go wrong, tired of affirmations in the morning and anxiety at midnight, tired of visualizing one thing and watching the opposite appear. You think you're blocked. You think something is resisting your good. But what if the saboteur is your own silent speech? What if the life you're living is not the result of your conscious faith, but the fruit of your whispered fear? Let me be clear, the subconscious hears everything. It does not differentiate between light and dark, between good and bad, between truth and lie. It simply receives what is spoken and makes it real. It obeys without judgment. It responds without delay. And while you're praying for miracles at sunrise, it's still replaying the curses you uttered under your breath at midnight. It doesn't care what you meant. It registers what you said. And so, if you speak despair in secret and faith in public, do not be surprised when your world reflects the former. The soil doesn't care if the seed was planted with intention or accident. It grows what you drop into it. But here is the glory. The same law that produced the harvest you did not want can produce the harvest you now choose. And it begins in the dark. The turning point is not when everything looks better. It is when you speak differently while nothing has changed. It is when the room is still empty and you say, I am full. It is when your body still hurts and you say, I am healed. It is when your bank account says 0 and you say, God is my unfailing supply. That's when the shift begins, not in the circumstance, but in the root. So I make this holy declaration now, and I ask you to speak it aloud with me, not as a habit, but as a verdict. I now speak light into every shadow of my being, again slowly, with the full authority of one who knows their word is law. I now speak light into every shadow of my being. No matter how long I've whispered fear, light now enters that corner. No matter how long I've rehearsed lack, light now dissolves it. No matter how hidden the patterns, I bring them to the altar of speech and I rewrite them. You do not need to be perfect. You only need to be aware. You only need to remember that the power is not in your perfection, but in your patterned word. And that word begins to change when you change what you say in the dark. The private word becomes the public harvest. The hidden declaration becomes the visible breakthrough. And so we begin. And so it is. There is a law more active than gravity, more precise than arithmetic, more consistent than the sunrise. It is the law of subconscious imprinting. And whether you believe in it or not, it is working. Whether you fear it, fight it, or forget it, it is writing the future of your experience with quiet, unsentimental precision. This law governs the unseen realm, where your spoken word becomes seed and your inner world becomes soil. And every syllable you speak, especially when you are alone, especially when you are hurting, especially when you are no longer pretending, is a seed dropped into the most obedient ground in all of creation, your subconscious mind. The subconscious is not poetic. It does not care about the context. It does not weigh your intentions. It does not say, she was just venting, or he didn't mean it. It simply receives, it absorbs, it accepts whatever is said in repetition, with emotional charge or in solitude. It listens not just when you're seated in meditation or chanting your morning affirmations. It listens most when you're driving in silence, When you're laying in bed alone with your thoughts, when you're washing dishes and muttering about how tired you are, how broke you feel, how nothing ever works. That's when the seeds get planted. Not the words you say when you're inspired, but the ones you say by habit. And Jesus spoke it clearly. He left no room for confusion. For there is nothing hidden that will not be made manifest. Luke 8:17. What does that mean? It means every private declaration becomes a public result. Every whispered complaint becomes a circumstance. Every late-night confession, even said in exhaustion or jest, becomes matter. The subconscious is not sentimental, it is structural. It takes the blueprint of your inner speech and builds a world to match it. You think you're just surviving the day, but if you are not conscious, you are scripting the next one. So ask yourself, what have you spoken in the dark? What did you say to yourself after the breakup, after the failure, after the job rejection? What did you declare when the bill came, when the scale rose, when the door shut? Did you say, nothing ever works for me? Did you whisper, I knew this would happen again? Did you mutter, I can't afford that? Because those words didn't vanish into thin air. They were planted, and unless they are uprooted by truth, they will grow. But here is the miracle. Just as easily as the subconscious accepts fear, it accepts faith. Just as it absorbed doubt, it will absorb declaration. It does not resist correction. It does not hold grudges. It simply obeys. So you do not need to be perfect. You only need to be present. Present enough to hear yourself in the dark. Present enough to catch the pattern. Present enough to say, that was a seed I do not consent to grow. And so now we speak what will be made manifest. Say this with me, not to hope, but to plant. My subconscious is holy ground. I only plant what I want to see. Again, with certainty, my subconscious is holy ground. I only plant what I want to see. This is how your unseen becomes seen. This is how the invisible turns to form. The law does not delay. It does not sleep. It simply fulfills what has been whispered. So let us whisper no more. Let us declare. And so it is. It is easy to speak faith when the sun is shining. It is easy to speak prosperity when the bank is full. It is easy to declare wholeness when the body feels strong and the room echoes with applause. But those words, though good, are not the ones that shape your destiny. The most powerful words are not spoken in the light. They are spoken in the dark, when you don't feel like saying them, when the tears blur the page, when the air is thick with fear and nothing looks like what you prayed for. That is the hour of creation. That is the moment where divine power is forged. That is when your voice matters most. So I ask you now, not what do you say when it's working, but what do you say when it's not? What comes out of your mouth in the hallway between the prayer and the promise? Do you say, why does this always happen to me? Do you mutter, it's always something? Do you repeat, I can't handle this, even as you live through it? That's the pattern. That's the loop. That's the lie clothed in emotion, scripting your next delay. Because while feelings are allowed to pass through, they are not allowed to speak for you. You are not a victim of your feelings. You are the authority over your words. And feelings may scream, but they do not create. Only the word does. So here is the holy shift. When grief tightens its grip, speak light. When anxiety rattles your chest, speak peace. When lack rises up and mocks you, speak divine supply. Not because you feel like it, but because you are rooted in law, not in mood. Say with me now, like you are carving it into your atmosphere. Though I walk in darkness, I speak only light. Again, slower, stronger. Though I walk in darkness, I speak only light. You are not denying the pain. You are refusing to give it the microphone. You are not ignoring the emotion. You are deciding who gets to write your next chapter. And it is not the fear. It is not the panic. It is not the inherited voice of your mother's struggle or your father's silence. It is the truth that you now claim as your compass. There is a moment in every trial, in every valley, where the enemy of your soul waits in the shadows, not to strike, but to agree. To get you to agree with lack, to agree with loss, to agree with limitation. It whispers, say it. Say you're tired. Say you're done. Say it's not working, just once. Because if you say it, you plant it. And if you plant it, it must grow. But you don't have to. You don't have to come into agreement with hell. You don't have to come into agreement with feeling. You don't have to lend your mouth to the old cycle. You can stop it cold with truth. Say this now, not with emotion but with authority. Feelings pass, word creates. One more time as instruction to your inner world. Feelings pass, word creates. Let your body tremble. Let your knees shake. Let your tears fall. But do not change your confession. Because when all of this passes, and it will, what remains will be what you spoke in the middle. And if you spoke light, light will be your reward. You are not weak for crying, but you are not called to curse yourself in your cry. You are not broken for feeling pain, but you are not commanded to narrate the pain as your identity. You are not forbidden from grief, but you are never to give grief your microphone. Only truth deserves that place. So the next time it hurts, when the bill comes, when the friend leaves, when the report returns, pause, breathe, and say, though I walk in darkness, I speak only light. Because the dark has no power where the word walks, and so it is. You've been speaking things you didn't mean, and your life has been agreeing with them. You've been calling yourself broke, tired, unlucky, and cursed, and the world, with all its silent agreement, has nodded and said, yes, as you wish. Not because you're being punished, not because spirit delights in your struggle, but because the subconscious is law-bound and neutral. It does not filter for compassion. It does not check for spiritual alignment. It simply records and repeats. And every phrase you have ever spoken in fear is still there, looping quietly in the background of your being, setting expectations, filtering opportunities, scripting delay like it's destiny. But I tell you now, destiny is not delay. It is spoken decree. And what you decreed in fear must be overwritten. You are not condemned by what you've said in panic. You are only required to take dominion over it. Your past words do not hold permanent power unless you let them. So now we begin the sacred work of reprogramming the subconscious loop, not with violence, not with shame, but with consecrated authority. And it begins with this phrase. Say it now, slowly, like a key turning in a lock. I cancel every word I spoke in fear. Again, louder. I cancel every word I spoke in fear. Not one whisper of worry will remain rooted. Not one muttered curse will continue bearing fruit. Not one apology you made to lack will be honored. Every word that was born in anxiety, born in despair, born in inherited patterns of fear, they are nullified now. And now I invite you into the vision. See it. Close your eyes and see your old words floating in front of you. Those shadowy sentences you whispered late at night, the ones that made you feel small, unworthy, incapable. See them written in dark ink on the walls of your subconscious. I can't afford it. No one ever stays. It's always hard for me. That's just my luck. Now watch as light begins to pour in, liquid gold, radiant, warm, alive. It floods the room of your inner being, and every word written in shadow melts, not erased by effort, but dissolved by truth. Let that golden light overwrite the lies. Let it replace every fearful imprint with divine coding. Now, in that same golden light, begin the new loop, begin the new law. Speak this aloud with reverence and rhythm. My inner language matches divine law. Again, my inner language matches divine law. No more contradiction, No more confession of fear while affirming faith. No more duality. You are now aligned, inner and outer, seen and unseen. You no longer leak lack in private while proclaiming prosperity in public. You no longer speak two languages. You are fluent in only one, the language of spiritual truth. This is the reprogramming, not once, not in bursts, but daily, rhythmically, relentlessly. You speak what you mean, and you mean what aligns with divine mind. You no longer casually curse yourself. You no longer joke in defeat. You no longer mutter lies in stress and wonder why the world echoes them back. You speak with full awareness that the loop is live. Every syllable you speak is setting the tone for what you will live. So once more, seal it in sound. I cancel every word I spoke in fear. My inner language matches divine law. Let that phrase become the guardian at the gate of your mind. Let it stand watch every time a fearful sentence tries to rise. And let it remind you, you are not just the speaker, you are the scribe of your soul. And the new story begins now, and so it is. You must stop speaking from your surroundings. You must stop narrating the dirt as if it's your destiny. The world you see is not your truth, it's your residue. It is the temporary echo of your old word. But if you keep reporting what surrounds you, if you keep speaking from the appearance of lack, from the dust of discouragement, from the fog of confusion, you will stay bound to the soil. And the soil was never meant to be your authority. It was meant to be your servant. The soil responds to the seed, not the other way around. But when you look at the soil and adjust your confession to match it, you abort the harvest before it ever grows. I say it now, as a command to your inner being. Stop speaking from the soil. Stop saying what is. Stop explaining what hurts. Stop defining yourself by the dust you're walking through. Speak from the seed. Speak from what you've planted, what you've prophesied, what you've dared to declare in the unseen. You do not speak the dirt, you speak the tree. And the tree may not be visible yet, but if the seed was true, then the outcome is guaranteed. The tree is inevitable. The harvest is already coded into the word. Your only job is to keep speaking what's been planted, not what surrounds the seed in the meantime. Imagine the seed in the ground, buried, covered in silence, surrounded by darkness, pressed by dirt, no sunlight, no applause, nothing visible. But within it, encoded in silence, is the full blueprint of the tree. The roots, the trunk, the branches, the fruit, all of it already in motion. The seed doesn't need to understand the dirt. It doesn't ask the soil for permission. It doesn't complain about the darkness. It simply begins to rise because the code inside it has already decided what it will become. So why, child of God, do you stare at the dirt and speak defeat when the blueprint of greatness is already within you? I challenge you now. No longer speak from your surroundings. Speak only from the seed. If you planted wealth, speak abundance, even if the numbers say otherwise. If you planted healing, speak wholeness, even if the pain is still present. If you planted favor, speak open doors, even if every phone call is a no. You are not here to describe the dirt. You are here to prophesy the tree. And when you speak from the seed, you agree with the law that governs inevitable increase. Say it now as a holy challenge to your own mouth. I no longer speak from what surrounds me. I speak from what I've planted. Again, I speak not the soil, I speak the tree. Let this be your shift point. Let this be the moment your word stops echoing fear and starts activating fruit. And so it is. Let us now speak, not from emotion, but from dominion. Let us declare, not from anxiety, but from alignment. These are not chants to soothe your nerves. These are not poetic phrases to sound spiritual. These are verbal instruments of spiritual agriculture, each one a seed sown deep into the soil of your subconscious, each one backed by the full authority of divine law. Speak them now, not with hesitation, but as one who knows that what is planted in word will bear fruit in form. Your tongue is not idle. It is a spiritual tool, and this is how we build. Say this aloud with me, as if heaven and earth are pausing to hear it. My subconscious is fertile with light. Again, my subconscious is fertile with light. No more planting in fear. No more writing failure into your being with every emotional outburst. No more polluting the garden of your soul with careless murmurs. From this moment forward, you become intentional, you become rooted, you become responsible for the words you drop into yourself, and light is the only thing permitted to grow. My subconscious is fertile with light. Now speak the seed, call it by name, let the soil know what to multiply. Say, I plant wealth, health, and wholeness with my word. Again, deeper. I plant wealth, health, and wholeness with my word. You are not wishing. You are not begging. You are installing. You are writing a new code. You are telling the invisible realm what to build next. No more vague desires. No more fear-covered prayers. You name it. You speak it. And you plant it in the sacred field of your own inner being. I plant wealth, health, and wholeness with my word. Now cleanse the ground. Guard it. Protect it. Speak this like a sword held against every old pattern. No fear phrase shall take root in me. Say it again. No fear phrase shall take root in me. Fear may knock, worry may whisper, but you no longer give those voices authority. They are not allowed to live in you. They are not allowed to build in you. You hear them and you replace them. You notice them and you denounce them. And the moment you do, their seed loses power. You are the gatekeeper now. No fear phrase shall take root in me. And now we close this sequence, not with a question mark, not with a pause, but with finality, with truth as the last sound. Only truth bears fruit. Again, slowly, like you're engraving it into your spiritual DNA, only truth bears fruit. Not fear, not complaint, not history, not logic, not feelings, only truth. And from now on, truth is all you speak. And so it is. Have you been planting weeds with your words? Have you, in the secret hours of exhaustion, dropped phrases into your subconscious that never should have been spoken? Be honest now, not to be ashamed, but to be free. Did you say, "It's always hard"? Did you whisper, "I don't know how much more I can take"? Did you mutter, "Nothing ever works for me"? Those were not just expressions. Those were seeds. And the law did not judge you. It obeyed you. The soil did not resist you. It responded. But today, with one conscious breath, one sacred decision, one holy sentence, you can begin the reversal. You are not here to punish yourself for what you said. You are here to take back the microphone. You are here to stop letting fear write your future. You are here to speak the light that transforms your dark. And I ask you now, not for me but for you, to mark this moment in sound and symbol. If your atmosphere has shifted, if your inner world has stirred, if you feel something new rising from the depths, then declare it where the law can witness it and your soul can confirm it. Comment now. I now speak light into my dark. Let it be your line in the sand. Let it be your reversal. Let it be your resurrection. Say it, type it, mean it. I now speak light into my dark, and return often, because the soil never sleeps, and the word still works, and so it is. There is a law that governs the unseen moment, the hour when no one is watching, when no one is affirming you, when the room is still and your fears get loud. It is not the law of hustle, not the law of performance. It is the law of silence paired with the spoken word. This law does not activate when you are celebrated. It activates when you are alone. When the sun has set, when the body is tired, when your soul drifts toward vulnerability, when the curtain of the day closes and you meet yourself, this is when the real decree begins. This is where creation starts, not with applause, but in the hush. The night symbolizes more than sleep. It symbolizes the subconscious phase of manifestation, when nothing looks alive, yet everything is forming, when the seed is buried and no evidence exists, when all activity seems to have stopped, but divine movement is most intense. And it is in this hour, the hour of mystery, the hour of darkness, that the law listens more closely than ever. Because in silence, your true belief rises. In stillness, your real decree speaks. And what you speak in this quiet, hidden hour becomes the architecture of your morning. It is no coincidence that Scripture says, "At midnight a cry was heard." Matthew 25:6. Midnight is not just a time, it is a metaphor. It is the point where delay turns to fulfillment. It is the spiritual pivot between hidden and seen. And at midnight, the cry that is heard is not noise. It is command. It is faith spoken without sight. It is truth declared in the face of nothing. It is the spiritual substance that pierces the invisible and brings forth the visible. That cry was not random. It was timed. It was lawful. Because midnight is when the unseen is stirred by the word. So I ask you, what do you say when you lie in bed and your mind spins? What do you say when the phone goes silent and the bank app shows red and no answers arrive? What do you say in the middle of the night, when no one will judge you, when no one will catch you, when you believe your speech is private and exempt from consequence? Because that is where the next version of your life is being built, not in your public affirmations, but in your private whispers. The law of the middle of the night says this: what you say in the dark decides what shows up in the light, not just because it's poetic, but because the subconscious is most open, most impressionable, most creative in stillness. This is why so many repeat their patterns even after making conscious declarations, because the subconscious still obeys the midnight monologue. Let that change now. Let this be the shift. From this night forward, your silence becomes sacred. Your whispers become aligned, and your word becomes the prophecy of your next sunrise. And so it is. There is a sound that rises in the soul when the lights go off and the world goes quiet. It is not always audible. It doesn't come from the mouth, but it floods the mind. It's the sound of panic rehearsing possibilities. It's the sound of fear replaying memories. It's the sound of dread forecasting what might go wrong. That is the night cry. And if you do not override it, it will write your next day before it ever begins. Because even in the hours when you appear to be resting, the subconscious remains alert. It listens. It absorbs. It takes those anxious mental loops as instruction. And it begins creating in silence what you never would have chosen in light. So what do you do when insomnia grips your chest? What do you say when panic rises like a flood in the middle of the night? What words are you to speak when you feel powerless, eyes wide open, mind racing, body tight with tension? You override. You do not echo the fear. You do not analyze the worry. You do not narrate your helplessness. You override the cry with command, and not the kind of command that shouts, but the kind that knows, the kind that speaks not from force, but from certainty. Say this now, with the tone of someone who will no longer surrender their subconscious to fear's programming. I rest under divine protection and perfect timing. Again, slowly, like a lullaby of power. I rest under divine protection and perfect timing. These are not just pretty words. These are alignment codes. These are spiritual instructions sent directly to the realm where your next form is being built. You are no longer letting fear write blueprints in your sleep. You are no longer letting shame narrate your tomorrows while your conscious mind is offline. You are replacing the loop. You are telling the night who is in charge, and the night must obey. Let this become your new sleep ritual, not scrolling, not worrying, not rehearsing arguments, but installing truth. Repeat the words that build. Speak declarations that soothe and command. Even if the mind says nothing is changing, the subconscious receives the repetition. It believes the voice it hears most, and in the dark, with no distraction, it becomes even more responsive to what you say. So do not waste the sacred hours of stillness on thoughts that don't serve you. Override them, interrupt them, replace them, not just once, but over and over again, until the night becomes your servant and not your enemy. Speak softly if you must, but speak. Declare peace, declare safety, declare divine order. If the thought says, "What if it all falls apart?" you answer with, "I am divinely held in every detail." If the thought says, "You can't afford this," you reply, "All my needs are met under grace and in perfect ways." If the thought says, "It's too late," you answer, "Time bows to divine law. I am always on time." You are not too tired to speak. You are too powerful to stay silent. Let the cry of the night be overridden now. Let the voice of spirit rise higher than the noise of fear. Say it once more as your final word before sleep, your banner over the dream realm. I rest under divine protection and perfect timing, and the law will receive that sentence, and your tomorrow will obey, and so it is. Some of the most dangerous forces shaping your life are not outer enemies. They are inner agreements, quiet ones, whispered ones, agreements you never consciously made, but silently adopted in the heat of fear, fatigue, or generational programming. These are not always loud beliefs. They are subtle. They hide in your tone, in your hesitation, in your self-talk, in the private sentences you never dared to say aloud. They shape how quickly you act, how boldly you ask, how much good you will actually allow. They are the invisible saboteurs that sit in the subconscious, undetected, scripting cycles. But I speak to that now, not with judgment, but with authority. You are not bound to what you once agreed with in fear. You are free to revoke it, and you must. You must identify the inner confessions that have been shaping your outer condition. The whispered sentences you said in a moment of disappointment. The things you repeated after a parent who didn't know better. The mantras you murmured in heartbreak. The labels you accepted from rejection. These things do not live in your conscious mind. They lurk below. They do not speak in paragraphs. They breathe in fragments. I'm not the type of person who, "That's just not in the cards for me." People like me don't. It always ends like this. You never meant to build a home for those words, but you did. You repeated them long enough that the subconscious made space for them. But now you must cleanse the temple, not with shame, not with regret, but with divine fire. Say this now with the gravity of a soul reclaiming its structure. I renounce every whispered limitation. Again, like you're tearing up an old contract, I renounce every whispered limitation. These are not just words, they are evictions. You are no longer the host of hidden sabotage. You are no longer the quiet partner in a false belief. You are no longer living by internalized ceilings that spirit never gave you. I renounce every whispered limitation. That phrase becomes the broom, the sword, the wind that clears the dust of decades. You do not need to know exactly where the lie came from. You only need to know it no longer belongs. Now, close your eyes and see it. In your mind's eye, picture a table. Upon it are sheets of paper, each one holding a sentence you've spoken in fear. Inherited words, cultural curses, scarcity scripts, lines like, "I'm not smart enough. It's too late for me. I'll always struggle. I'm not worthy of wealth." Now watch as a flame appears, not harsh, not chaotic, but holy, gold, violet, glowing from within. And with each breath, the fire consumes the page. The words shrivel, fade, disappear. You do not cling. You do not plead. You let them burn. They were never yours. You were never meant to carry them. This is the fire of spiritual reprogramming, and it leaves no ash behind. As the fire clears, see a new inscription appear, not written by trauma, not spoken by fear, but engraved by divine mind. I speak only what aligns with truth. I am the vessel of sacred instruction. My subconscious obeys only what serves. Let these words take root where the weeds once were. Let them resound louder than the lies. Let your silence now be filled with holiness. Let your inner monologue become a sanctuary. because the saboteur has been evicted, and only truth lives here now. Say it once more. I renounce every whispered limitation. And so it is. There is a moment in every day, every season, every soul's unfolding, when all the noise fades and silence stretches before you like a mirror. And for most, that silence feels like discomfort. It feels like lack. It feels like something is missing. So we fill it with worry, with replayed conversations, with loops of doubt dressed as thinking. But I challenge you now, stop filling silence with fear. Stop pouring worry into the gaps where spirit was ready to speak. Stop narrating doom just because no one else is talking. Silence is not your enemy. Silence is not a void. Silence is the throne room of spiritual instruction. You must retrain yourself to see stillness not as emptiness, but as readiness. The silence is not absence. It is presence waiting to respond. And the only voice that should break that stillness is the one that knows who it is and what it commands. When all is still, you do not panic. You prophesy. You do not fill the space with guessing. You fill it with decree. Because the silence is not empty air, it is sacred canvas, and your word paints the future upon it. So when the moment comes, when the room goes quiet, when the phone doesn't ring, when no answer appears, don't fill it with noise. Don't reach for distraction. Don't go hunting for someone else's voice to break the stillness. Speak, not as a beggar, not as a victim, as a creator, as a vessel of divine authority. Stand in that silence like it's a courtroom and the verdict depends on your tongue. Stand in that stillness like it's holy ground. And say this with me now, not as poetry, but as law. Peace obeys my voice. Again, stronger. Peace obeys my voice. You are not the echo. You are the origin. You are not reacting to the quiet. You are shaping what comes next. Speak into the stillness as if the entire atmosphere is leaning in to obey. Because it is. Speak healing. Speak money. Speak direction. Speak love. Speak strength. Speak restoration. Not after the chaos ends, but right into the center of it. Your voice carries weight when no one else is speaking. Your decree becomes architecture when the ground is bare. So the next time it's quiet, when the world doesn't seem to answer you, when heaven seems silent, when you feel suspended in delay, don't narrate confusion. Don't speak doubt. Don't panic into old scripts. Step forward, open your mouth, and say, "Peace obeys my voice." Because you do not wait for evidence, you create it. And so it is. Now we speak again, not to repeat, but to reinforce, not to inspire emotion, but to imprint divine rhythm into the subconscious. These are not just affirmations, they are activations. They are sacred decrees that recalibrate your inner temple, reroute old programming, and replace subconscious sabotage with spiritual sovereignty. Every word you speak now becomes law in the realm of the unseen, forming the outcomes that will soon walk into view. So speak them not as a request, but as a ruler. Say this with me now, slow and steady, as one who no longer fears the silence. My quiet is filled with sacred decree. Again, as if the walls of your mind are listening, and they are. My quiet is filled with sacred decree. No more wasting stillness. No more using silence as a dumping ground for fear. From this moment forward, every pause becomes a platform. Every moment of stillness becomes a sanctuary where truth is spoken and form is built. My quiet is filled with sacred decree. Now speak your hierarchy. Place your soul back in command. Say this with full knowing. I am not ruled by feelings. I am ruled by truth. Once more, like you are shaking the foundation of old patterns, I am not ruled by feelings. I am ruled by truth. Your feelings are visitors. They do not sit on the throne. They do not draft your future. They do not write your story. They pass through, but they do not remain. And while they come and go, your word stands eternal. I am not ruled by feelings. I am ruled by truth. Now speak from the midnight hour, not as a victim of darkness, but as a voice of light. Say this: my midnight words create my daylight reward. Again, not softly, but as prophecy. My midnight words create my daylight reward. Because what you speak when the world is quiet becomes what the world must reflect. Your reward does not begin with your labor. It begins with your language. What you speak at night becomes what you wake up to next. You are no longer wandering in circles. You are speaking in straight lines toward divine result. My midnight words create my daylight reward. And now, close this round with the final seal, the vow that ends all wavering. Say it now with full alignment. I speak only from faith, never from fear. Again, like it is being etched into the gates of your mind. I speak only from faith, never from fear. No more double-mindedness, no more mixture, no more praying in faith and muttering in doubt. From this breath forward, your word belongs to the kingdom, not to chaos. Your speech is sanctuary. Your voice is vision. Your decree is clean. Let these affirmations anchor you. Let them echo through your day. Let them travel with you into night. Because you no longer speak to survive. You speak to create. And so it is. Will you speak light in your next dark hour? Will you remember that your voice is not a decoration, not a ritual, but a spiritual technology that governs form? Will you remember when the feeling returns, when the fear rises, when the room is silent and no one sees, that heaven still hears, that the subconscious still records, that the law still obeys? This is your invitation, not to inspiration, but to dominion, to become a keeper of your own atmosphere, to become a watchman over your own tongue, to turn midnight from a place of collapse into a place of command. Because now you know, now you're accountable. You cannot pretend you don't understand how the dark works. You cannot go back to muttering curses and wondering why nothing grows. From this moment forward, you speak as one who knows, one who understands that the words spoken in the quiet carry more power than the speeches shouted from stages. One who understands that midnight is a portal, and your decree is what determines what steps through it. So I ask you now, not gently, but with fire, will you speak light in your next dark hour? Will you catch yourself before the old phrase repeats? Will you replace the sigh with a sentence of sovereignty? Will you say, not in theory, but in truth, midnight obeys my word? If you're ready to mark that shift in sound and in scroll, comment it now and say it out loud as you type it. Midnight obeys my word, because it does. And now, so do you. And so it is. Everything in your life right now, every condition, every relationship, every dollar, every delay, every breakthrough, exists not because of random events, not because of luck, not because of circumstances beyond your control. It exists because of structure. And the structure beneath it all is built by one thing: your word. Words are not decorations. They are architectural instructions in the invisible. Every sentence you speak becomes scaffolding. Every repeated phrase becomes a beam, a wall, a door. And over time, the world you move through is not the world handed to you by fate. It is the house constructed by your vocabulary. This is not metaphor. It is law, divine law, and Scripture reveals it plainly, without need for interpretation or theological gymnastics. By faith, we understand that the worlds were framed by the Word of God. Hebrews 11:3. Worlds, plural. Not just galaxies, not just cosmic spheres, but personal dimensions, life realms, outcomes, experiences. Framed, built, designed, shaped, supported by the Word. That same divine pattern is active in you. Your word frames your world. It outlines what is allowed. It defines what enters. It determines what takes form. You are the builder, not of your emotions, but of your environment. And you build it not with money, not with effort, not with time, but with utterance. You say, I can't take any more, and the structure of collapse begins to rise. You say, It's always something. And the structure of chaos begins to shape itself around you. You say, I never catch a break. And the blueprints adjust to accommodate the next delay. You may not see it instantly, but law is never lazy. The foundation is being poured in the unseen. But here is the miracle. You can rebuild. You can halt the old construction with one conscious declaration. You can issue a new design, even if the old one has been under construction for years. The spiritual realm responds not to time, but to alignment. And the moment you change your speech, the architecture begins to shift. You don't have to fix the past. You just have to stop reinforcing it. Tear down the old walls with silence. Raise new ones with truth. Say this now, not as an idea, but as instruction to your atmosphere. My word frames my world. Again, stronger. My word frames my world. And then ask yourself, what have I been building? A sanctuary or a prison? A palace of overflow or a cage of limitation? Have my phrases created doors or walls? Let this be your blueprint shift, from careless speech to conscious structure, from emotional release to spiritual decree, because the next version of your life is waiting on your next sentence. Build wisely, speak lawfully, frame what you actually want to live in. And so it is. You are not just the actor in the movie of your life. You are the narrator. You are the one who overlays the scenes with meaning, with language, with prophecy. And I ask you now, what have you been narrating? What captions have you placed over your circumstances? What inner monologue have you let play on repeat while you walk through your days? Because many of you are not just going through difficulty, you are narrating yourself deeper into it. You are voicing defeat before it fully arrives. You are calling lack your identity. You are giving confusion. The spoken word carries the seed of manifestation. Every word we utter is a decree, a command issued to the unseen forces that shape our lives. When I say I am rich, the universe rearranges itself to make it true. The invisible law listens, and the vibration of my speech attracts its likeness, just as a magnet draws iron filings. Riches do not come from effort alone. They are summoned by alignment with the unseen law of supply. My word is my wand, and with it I write my fortune upon the canvas of life. Poverty is not real substance. It is a shadow, the absence of recognition of infinite supply. Wealth is the natural state, ever present, waiting only for my acknowledgement. When I spoke the word of abundance, I shifted my inner pattern, and everything outside obeyed. The outer is but the picture, the inner word is the film that creates it. One spoken word of faith outweighs years of striving, for faith is the key that unlocks the treasure chest of heaven. I once believed riches were far off, tied to effort, struggle, and chance. But when I spoke, I am ultra-rich, a new law began to operate. I saw that my wealth was already established in the invisible, waiting for my claim. As I declared it, doors opened that were hidden before. People, opportunities, and ideas aligned as if summoned by a higher hand. The spoken word had gone forth like a seed and returned multiplied, pressed down, shaken together, running over. Every word has a vibration, and every vibration calls forth its twin. Words of lack summon lack. Words of doubt summon delay. But words of wealth summon wealth. And words of joy summon joy. The tongue is the rudder that steers the ship of life. Many drift because they let careless words direct them into barren waters. But the moment one speaks deliberately, with faith and certainty, the ship turns toward the harbor of abundance. To speak wealth is to affirm truth, for lack is the lie. The universe was born rich, overflowing with gold in the earth, pearls in the sea, harvest in the field. Supply is endless, as boundless as the stars. When I say, I am ultra-rich, I align myself with the eternal current of increase. My word pierces the veil of appearances and calls forth the hidden good that was mine from the beginning. The world echoes my declaration. The law cannot deny me what I claim in faith. When I spoke, wealth hurried to meet me. It clothed itself as money, as opportunities, as gifts, as sudden favor. Every form is only the shadow of the word I spoke. To say, I am ultra-rich, is to strike the tuning fork of infinite abundance. and all things rush to harmonize with that sound. The spoken word is a decree that shapes destiny. When I speak, I send out a vibration that echoes through the unseen, stirring forces that must respond. Every word uttered carries a power beyond the mind's comprehension, for words are not idle sounds but living seeds. They contain within them the pattern of the future, and once spoken, they begin to draw circumstances, events, and people to fulfill what was declared. Words never fall to the ground empty, they are clothed with substance and return multiplied. To speak is to command, to decree, to call forth what already exists in the invisible into visible form. The ancient law is precise: whatsoever a man declares, believing, he shall receive. Many live unaware of this law, scattering words of doubt, complaint, and fear, and then marvel when those very conditions appear in their lives. They do not see that the words they have spoken were the blueprint, and life merely built upon that design. The tongue is the rudder of destiny. A careless phrase can direct the ship into storms, while a deliberate word of power steers it into safe harbors overflowing with supply. Nothing is more powerful than the word spoken with conviction, for it is the bridge between thought and manifestation. From the beginning, creation itself was spoken. The world was not carved by hands but called forth by sound, by the decree of the word. That same creative principle flows through every individual. The voice carries authority because it aligns with universal law. When I speak, I am not simply expressing an idea, I am activating the law of vibration and attraction. Words of health draw health, words of peace draw peace. Words of wealth draw wealth. It cannot be otherwise, for the law is impersonal, exact, and unfailing. The decree goes forth and must return in its likeness. When one speaks with faith, every unseen force rushes to obey. Invisible messengers are set into motion, arranging details that the mind could not plan. Opportunities appear, doors swing open, solutions arrive, often in ways too marvelous to imagine. The decree sets this into action, for the word contains the command. The decree does not plead, it knows. To decree is to affirm as already established. The spoken word does not ask, will it come? But declares, it is so. And the universe echoes back the truth of that declaration. Every life is shaped not by outer conditions but by inner words released into speech. Some wonder why struggles repeat, why lack persists, why doors remain closed. They do not see that their constant repetition of lack, fear, or failure has sealed those experiences into form. To say, I cannot afford, is to write poverty into the script of life. To declare, nothing ever works out for me, is to bind oneself to disappointment. But the moment one changes the decree, the picture begins to change. When words shift from complaint to affirmation, from fear to faith, a new current is set in motion, and destiny begins to realign. The spoken word must be chosen with care, for it is a creative instrument. Every phrase is a brushstroke on the canvas of life. Speak of limitation, and the canvas fills with barriers. Speak of freedom, and the way opens wide. Words are not small, they are vast forces condensed into sound. They are lightning bolts of power, striking into the invisible and forming patterns that later materialize. To speak with awareness is to wield the most powerful tool given to humanity. To speak without awareness is to surrender destiny to chance, but in truth, there is no chance, only law responding to the decree. One word spoken in authority outweighs 1,000 thoughts. Thought unspoken is seed stored. It may or may not take root, but the moment it is spoken, it is planted, and the soil of the unseen goes to work. Just as a farmer sows in expectation of harvest, so does every word carry within it a harvest of like kind. The harvest may not appear immediately, but it is certain. Time is merely the process of unfolding what has already been planted. The wise one watches their words, knowing each one carries destiny within it. Speech is not to be used idly, for idle words are not idle in effect. They, too, go forth and create. The law knows no jest. To say even in play, words of destruction or loss is to plant seeds of the same. The soil of the unseen does not discriminate between serious and casual. It receives whatever is given. Therefore, to decree is to take responsibility for one's life, to recognize that no condition is stronger than the words spoken with authority. Outer facts may seem immovable, but the decree spoken in faith reshapes those facts into alignment with truth. When I decree, I claim dominion. I rise above appearances and declare what is eternally real. Though the senses may contradict, the spoken word pierces through illusion and draws the unseen reality into manifestation. To decree abundance in the face of lack is to align with infinite supply. To decree health in the face of illness is to align with wholeness. To decree joy in the midst of sorrow is to align with the eternal stream of life. The decree lifts consciousness out of bondage to appearances and into freedom, and as consciousness rises, outer life follows. This is the great secret hidden in plain sight, that destiny is not written by fate but by the word. Those who guard their speech guard their lives, and those who decree with certainty shape their future with precision. Each spoken word is a brush dipped in the colors of eternity, painting scenes that must one day be lived. Nothing is withheld from the one who decrees in faith, for the word is the command, and the law is the servant. The decree goes forth and destiny is written in sound. Poverty is illusion, abundance is the natural state. What appears as lack is not substance but shadow, a mirage cast by fear, doubt, and disbelief in the infinite source. In truth, the universe is overflowing with riches beyond measure. Gold lies hidden in the earth, pearls sleep within the seas, harvests wave in the fields, and ideas abound in the realm of mind. Abundance surrounds every soul, waiting only for recognition. Poverty arises when the eyes of the spirit are veiled. When one accepts the appearance of lack as reality, rather than seeing through it to the eternal supply behind it. To dwell on scarcity is to bind oneself to it, for what the mind accepts, life reproduces. To lift the gaze and declare abundance is to break the illusion. For the truth of plenty floods in where the lie of lack once stood. Every being is heir to infinite supply, yet many live as though exiled from their inheritance. They toil, they strive, they grasp, believing that wealth is rare and must be seized from others. They do not see that supply is endless, that the storehouses of the universe can never be emptied. The illusion of poverty has no root in truth. It is a false belief hardened into appearance by continual thought and speech. The natural state is richness, flowing freely, multiplying endlessly, manifesting in countless forms. When one awakens to this, the spell of lack dissolves, and abundance rushes in like a river long dammed, but suddenly released. The natural order of life is increase. The seed in the ground pushes upward. The vine bears fruit, the tree multiplies its branches, the ocean teems with fish, the stars themselves are without number. Nature does not display lack, it displays overflow. To walk in harmony with life is to walk in abundance. Scarcity comes not from life but from false belief, from blocking the current with fear and doubt. When the inner belief changes, when one recognizes that abundance is not something to strive for but something to accept, the flow resumes. The universe is never poor. It is endlessly rich, and those who align with its truth draw riches without struggle. Poverty feeds on attention. The more one looks at it, the stronger it seems. To talk of lack, to dwell on insufficiency, to rehearse stories of not enough, is to give shadow the strength of substance. Yet it is a phantom, a veil, a fleeting mist. The moment the word of abundance is spoken in faith, the mist clears and supply appears. What once seemed scarce becomes plentiful. Opportunities arise where none were seen. Money comes in unexpected channels. The outer world rearranges itself, for it was never solid but malleable, responding always to the inner recognition of truth. The mind trained to see abundance sees it everywhere. The world becomes a storehouse of supply, every encounter a doorway, every situation a chance for increase. The one who sees through the illusion of poverty is no longer bound by outer appearances. A barren field becomes a harvest, for they know the soil is rich with potential. An empty hand becomes a hand of wealth, for they know ideas flow ceaselessly from the infinite. Abundance is never absent, it is only unrecognized. The recognition is the key that unlocks it. And once unlocked, it flows ceaselessly, for it was there all along. The belief in poverty is a habit passed from mind to mind, from generation to generation, but it has no foundation in truth. It is a tale repeated so often that it appears real, but like all illusions, it dissolves when exposed to the light of truth. The child plays freely, unburdened by fear of supply, for the child instinctively trusts the universe. Only later, taught by fearful voices, does the belief in lack take hold. But what has been learned can be unlearned. The mind can be renewed, and with renewal comes the restoration of abundance. The natural state reasserts itself, sweeping away the falsehood of poverty. Life is a reflection of consciousness, and consciousness filled with lack produces want, while consciousness filled with plenty produces wealth. The world outside mirrors the world inside. To shift the inner vision from scarcity to abundance is to shift the entire experience of life. Outer riches flow naturally to the one who inwardly knows, I live in an abundant universe. I am provided for. Supply is endless and flows to me now. Such recognition dissolves fear, and without fear the channels of supply open wide. The natural law rushes to confirm what is believed, and abundance becomes visible. Every resource, every opportunity, every form of wealth is already present in the unseen. It does not need to be created, it waits to be claimed. The one who understands that poverty is illusion no longer begs or struggles, but claims their rightful inheritance with calm authority. They know that to demand abundance is not arrogance but alignment, for abundance was theirs from the beginning. The illusion of lack is like a dream that dissolves upon waking, and the soul that awakens walks in the sunlight of plenty, free from fear, free from struggle, free from the chains of want. To live in the truth of abundance is to rest in certainty, for the supply is not dependent on outer conditions. It does not waver with markets, with economies, with chance events. It flows from the infinite, steady, eternal, unchanging. Poverty rises and falls with appearances, but abundance is eternal law. Those who root themselves in appearances rise and fall with them, tossed by every wave of change. Those who root themselves in truth stand firm, drawing supply from the inexhaustible source. The illusion of lack may swirl around them, but they remain untouched, for they know the deeper reality. Poverty cannot bind the one who knows abundance as the natural state. Illusion has no power over truth. The outer picture may seem bleak, but the awakened soul declares, abundance is mine now, and the law hastens to obey. Step by step, supply appears, channels open. Life overflows with good. It was never absent, it was waiting for recognition. Poverty vanishes as a dream upon waking, and abundance shines as the eternal daylight that was always there. Words of wealth summon wealth, words of lack summon lack. Every word is a seed sown into the fertile soil of the unseen, and that soil does not question what has been planted. It does not judge. It does not discriminate, it simply brings forth according to the seed received. When I speak words of wealth, I am planting riches into the garden of life, and the harvest will be of the same nature. When I speak words of lack, I sow the seeds of want, and the harvest too will reflect what was spoken. The harvest always comes, for the law is exact and unfailing. The tongue holds the power to bless or bind, to call forth increase or to perpetuate emptiness. Every utterance carries within it a vibration, and vibrations call to themselves their likeness, drawing into manifestation that which matches their sound. The power of words is not a matter of superstition but of law. Just as a note struck on one instrument causes the same note to vibrate in another, so does the spoken word call forth its corresponding experience. To declare, I am prosperous, is to strike the chord of prosperity, and the world begins to vibrate with opportunities, ideas, and resources that match that tone. To declare, I cannot afford, is to strike the chord of limitation, and life responds by withholding supply, for it can only mirror what has been spoken into it. Words are not empty, they are creative commands that mold the substance of life into form. The wealth one seeks is already present in the invisible, waiting to be summoned into view. It awaits the word that calls it forth. The declaration is the key that unlocks the invisible vaults of supply. Many strive without speaking rightly, and so their labor yields little. They sweat, they struggle, they toil, yet their words cancel their efforts. They say, "It is too hard," and life becomes hard. They say, "I will never have enough," and life echoes back, "Never enough." Yet when the same person turns their speech, declaring with conviction, "Everything I need flows to me," the struggle ends, and supply begins to appear in effortless ways. Words of wealth summon wealth, for they harmonize with the ever-present abundance that surrounds all. Every phrase uttered is a decree sent forth. Words of joy summon joy, words of peace summon peace, words of freedom summon freedom. And in the same way, words of wealth summon wealth. The decree must be consistent, for double speech confuses the law. To say in one breath, "I am rich," and in another breath, "I am poor," is to sow both wheat and weeds, and the garden grows tangled. But the steady decree of wealth spoken in faith clears away the weeds of lack and establishes a pure harvest. Life becomes an echo chamber of one's own speech, faithfully returning what was first released. Words carry life or death to dreams, to health, to fortune. The wise guard their tongue as one guards treasure, for each phrase holds power. The one who habitually speaks of riches, even in small matters, trains the law to respond with increase. They do not say, "I cannot," but instead, "I can and I will." They do not say, "I lack," but instead, "I have." In time, the outer picture conforms to these inner decrees, for speech is creative and cannot return void. The universe bends to the sound of the word, reshaping itself to fulfill the decree. Consider how swiftly words of fear manifest. Speak of illness, and symptoms often follow. Speak of trouble, and difficulties seem to multiply. The same law applies to wealth. Speak of riches, and the channels of riches open. Speak of opportunities, and opportunities arrive. Life listens intently to the voice and obeys. Words are not mere expressions but blueprints, outlines of what will be built in experience. The law of vibration ensures that the spoken word attracts its match, summoning circumstances, people, and events that align with what was spoken. The one who seeks wealth must therefore speak it continually, not as wishful thinking but as present reality. To say, "I am wealthy now," is to align with the truth of abundance, which is always available. The law does not respond to begging or pleading, but to certainty. When the word is spoken with conviction, without doubt, it carries weight and authority. That authority is recognized by the unseen forces, and supply hurries to answer. Words of wealth summon wealth, because they strike the universal chord of increase, and increase is the natural flow of life. Speech must be guarded even in jest, for the law does not discern humor. To joke of poverty, to laugh about lack, to say lightly, "I am broke," is to sow seeds of want all the same. The soil of the unseen does not pause to ask if the word was serious or not. It only knows to bring forth after its kind. Therefore, every utterance should be chosen carefully, for careless speech produces careless results. To live deliberately is to speak deliberately, planting only the seeds one desires to see grow. When words of wealth are spoken with gratitude, their power is magnified. Gratitude seals the decree with faith, for gratitude says, "It is already mine." The thankful word vibrates at the frequency of possession, not longing. To say, "I am grateful for the riches flowing to me now," is to affirm that wealth is already present, and the law hastens to fulfill that affirmation. Gratitude draws more to be grateful for, just as complaint draws more to complain about. Words are magnets, and the attitude with which they are spoken determines the strength of their pull. The transformation of life begins with the transformation of speech. The lips trained to declare abundance reshape the entire course of destiny. Wealth does not first appear in the bank but in the mouth. Riches are summoned by the steady repetition of truth, spoken aloud until the vibration saturates consciousness and calls forth its likeness in form. To speak wealth is to set the law of supply into motion. To continue speaking it without wavering is to guarantee its appearance. Words of wealth summon wealth unfailingly, for they are one with the eternal law of increase that governs all creation. The inner word creates the outer picture. Life is not shaped by what happens outside, but by what is continuously spoken within. Every thought clothed in words becomes a decree that paints itself upon the canvas of reality. The unseen world within is the architect, and the visible world without is the building. What I whisper in the secret chambers of my mind is heard by the law of creation, and that law sets about constructing the outer form that mirrors the inner decree. The world may appear solid and immovable, but it is pliable substance molded by inner speech. To change the picture, I must first change the word that is spoken within. For the outer cannot resist the power of the inner word once it is spoken with faith and conviction. When the inner word is filled with lack, the picture reflects want. When the inner word is filled with doubt, the picture reflects delay. When the inner word is filled with fear, the picture reflects bondage. Yet when the inner word is filled with abundance, the picture reflects wealth. When the inner word is filled with faith, the picture reflects fulfillment. When the inner word is filled with joy, the picture reflects harmony. The inner word is the seed, and the outer picture is the harvest. The field of life does not question the seed, it simply reproduces what has been planted. To dwell on negative speech within is to sow weeds. To dwell on truth and abundance within is to sow flowers and fruits. The harvest is always faithful to the seed. Many attempt to change their lives by altering the outer picture, striving to rearrange circumstances, people, and conditions. Yet they discover the picture reforms itself in the same pattern, for the inner word remains unchanged. They repaint the surface, but the underlying image pushes through again. The only true transformation comes when the inner word is renewed. When the inner word shifts, the outer picture must follow. It cannot do otherwise, for the inner is the cause, and the outer is the effect. To labor only on effects is to chase shadows, but to work with the inner word is to strike at the root, ensuring that the new picture will appear with certainty. The inner word is spoken not only in conscious thought, but in the deep convictions of the heart. A man may say outwardly, "I am rich," but if the inner word whispers, "I am poor," then poverty will be the picture. The inner word carries more weight than the outer declaration when the two are in conflict. Yet the outer spoken word, when repeated with faith and determination, can transform the inner word. Every affirmation, every decree, spoken aloud with belief, begins to impress the subconscious mind until it takes hold and becomes the inner conviction. Then the inner and outer words harmonize, and the picture must change. Life is a mirror reflecting back the hidden word of the soul. If discord appears, it is because discord has been spoken within. If harmony appears, it is because harmony has been spoken within. Nothing appears by chance. Everything is summoned by the vibration of the inner decree. To gaze upon the outer world is to gaze upon a picture painted by one's own inner words. The picture may please or displease, but it is always faithful. The law cannot be deceived. It does not bring forth what one wishes vaguely, but what one speaks inwardly with conviction. The picture never lies, for it is the perfect reflection of the inner word. To govern the inner word is to govern life. This requires vigilance, for thoughts arise unbidden, and the tongue of the inner voice is quick to speak, yet mastery comes with awareness. By watching the inner word, I see the seeds I am planting. By correcting it immediately when it strays into lack or fear, I prevent weeds from taking root. By reaffirming truth, abundance, and joy, I strengthen the soil with fertile seed. Over time, the inner word becomes habitually aligned with truth, and the outer picture blossoms into beauty and wealth. What once seemed a struggle becomes effortless, for the law is working continually, bringing forth whatever has been sown. The inner word is like the script of a play, and the outer world is the stage upon which it is acted. Actors, props, and scenes assemble themselves according to the script. If the script says sorrow, sorrow appears. If the script says joy, joy appears. The actors themselves are not the source, they merely play the roles written for them. To change the play, the script must be rewritten, and that script is the inner word. Life obeys the script without question, for it is bound by law to mirror the inner decree. By rewriting the inner word, I rewrite the entire play of life. Some believe their circumstances are fixed, determined by fate, heredity, or chance. Yet the law of the inner word reveals that nothing is fixed except by continual decree. A condition persists only because it is continually spoken within, either consciously or unconsciously. The moment the inner word changes, the process of transformation begins. The picture may linger for a time, as the old word fades and the new word takes root, but the change is inevitable. The new picture will appear as surely as dawn follows night. Fate is not a master but a servant of the inner word. The great secret is that the inner word always precedes the outer picture. What I long for will never appear until I speak it within. Desire without decree is a dream, but desire spoken inwardly with conviction is the beginning of creation. The inner word clothes the desire with form, and that form begins to press itself outward until it appears in visible reality. To guard the inner word is to guard the creative process itself. To speak deliberately within is to command destiny. Every picture of life is but the reflection of words once spoken in the silence of the soul. The inner word creates the outer picture with exactness, never erring, never delaying except as belief delays it. The law cannot fail. It only waits for a clear decree. When the inner word is confused, the picture is confused. When the inner word is steadfast, the picture is steady. When the inner word is filled with power, the picture is glorious. The responsibility rests with the one who speaks within. For that speech is the brush that paints the masterpiece of life. Faith-filled speech unlocks infinite supply. The words spoken with faith carry a power far greater than ordinary speech. They are not mere sounds but living decrees. Clothed with the authority of conviction, vibrating with certainty that compels the unseen to respond. Faith is the element that transforms words from idle talk into commands of creation. A word spoken without belief falls to the ground like a seed scattered on stone. But a word spoken with faith takes root in the fertile soil of the unseen and brings forth a harvest in due season. Faith is the substance that gives life to the spoken decree, the invisible energy that unlocks doors, opens channels, and summons supply from unexpected places. The universe is a storehouse of abundance, infinite and inexhaustible. Yet it remains unopened until faith turns the key. Speech without faith rattles against the door but cannot move it. Speech with faith inserts the key, turns it with ease, and the treasures pour forth. Faith-filled speech does not ask timidly. It does not plead, it does not wonder if it will be answered. It speaks as one who already possesses, who already knows, who already stands in ownership of the unseen riches. The universe cannot resist such authority, for the law is bound to respond to faith. When the word is spoken in faith, it goes forth as a decree, not as a question. To say, "I will be rich someday," is to postpone and weaken the command, but to say, "I am rich now," in faith is to set the law into immediate motion. Faith speaks in the present, for it knows the unseen is already real. The speech of faith does not wait for appearances to confirm, it declares the reality first, and appearances rearrange themselves in obedience to the declaration. The supply was always present, but faith-filled speech is what unlocks it and calls it into visible form. Fear-filled speech locks the door as surely as faith-filled speech opens it. To say, "I never have enough," is to decree lack with authority, and the law obeys, producing shortage in the outer world. To say, "It is too difficult," is to bind oneself to difficulty, for the word spoken with conviction becomes a command to life. Faith is the dividing line between lack and plenty, bondage and freedom, delay and fulfillment. Without faith, words stumble. With faith, words fly like arrows to their target, never missing the mark. Faith is not struggle, it is calm assurance. The one who speaks with faith does not strain, does not force, does not beg. They speak with quiet certainty, knowing the law has heard and the supply is already flowing. Faith is rest in the unseen, confidence in the invisible. Words clothed in the Spirit become unstoppable, for they harmonize with the eternal truth that abundance is limitless and ever-present. The universe responds as though compelled, because faith is the vibration of alignment with reality. Every miracle begins with faith-filled speech. The walls of impossibility may stand tall, but one decree spoken in faith sends them crumbling. Conditions may seem immovable, but the word spoken with unwavering conviction reshapes them with ease. What logic cannot achieve, what effort cannot force, the simple word of faith accomplishes without strain. Faith-filled speech is the channel through which the infinite pours into the finite. It is the command that lifts the veil, revealing the treasures that have always been available but unseen. The difference between idle affirmation and faith-filled decree is the spirit with which it is spoken. To repeat words mechanically is to scatter seeds without soil. They fall away without result. But when the words are wrapped in the fire of faith, they penetrate the unseen, striking the chords of the universe, and the whole creation moves to fulfill them. One word of faith outweighs years of lifeless repetition, for it is not the sound of the words, but the power behind them that creates. The supply unlocked by faith-filled speech appears in many forms. It may come as money, as opportunity, as favor, as ideas, as sudden guidance. Faith does not dictate how the supply will appear, it simply knows that it will appear. The universe is limitless in channels, and faith allows it to choose the perfect one. To insist on how is to narrow the supply, but to speak in faith is to release it fully, trusting the unseen to manifest in the best and most abundant way. The one who speaks with faith lives above appearances. They may see lack in the outer, but they refuse to give it power. Their speech does not echo the outer picture, but declares the unseen truth. They say, I have abundance, even when the purse is empty. They say, I walk in wealth, even when the road looks barren. They know that to speak from appearances is to remain bound by them, but to speak in faith is to change them. The outer must eventually conform to the decree, for faith-filled speech carries the authority of law. Faith and speech together are the tools of creation. Speech alone is sound. Faith alone is silent belief. But speech infused with faith is living command, creative power in action. It summons the invisible riches into form. It unlocks the hidden treasures of life. It transforms the unseen potential into visible reality. Those who master faith-filled speech hold the key to infinite supply. For they understand that the universe is voice-activated, responding always to the sound of faith. Faith-filled speech is not bound by time. It does not concern itself with how long the manifestation takes, for it knows the decree has already been answered. Time is but the unfolding of what has already been spoken. Faith does not waver when days or weeks pass, it holds steady, knowing the harvest is inevitable. Doubt digs up the seed, but faith leaves it to grow. The word once spoken in faith is a living thing, working unseen until it emerges into form. The infinite supply of the universe is waiting always, but the key that unlocks it is faith-filled speech. Without the word, the supply remains unclaimed. Without faith, the word remains powerless. But when the two unite, the floodgates of abundance swing open, and life becomes a stream of provision, overflowing with riches, opportunities, and joy. The decree of faith is the command to the universe, and the universe responds with treasures unmeasured, pouring out more than the mind could conceive, all summoned by the simple yet mighty act of speaking in faith.